Sifting through some of these comments here coming through the Fed's beige book, most districts reporting price growth still in the latest quarter. So beige book is just a general overview of economic conditions currently. So most likely we'll see the market react before we get a good feeling of what is actually in this report. Market really not reacting at this point. Still downside as we head into the final couple hours here of the session. Welcome in, 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, market's starting to go back to the upside here a little bit on this. Again, I'll sift through some of these comments as we get going. But if you remember this morning, we were dealing with this services and manufacturing PMI data. The services side of things on the ISM number comes in for an 8th straight month of expansion at 54.5, the fastest pace of growth since February of 2023. That kicked off the down move in the overall market. That's how things are shaping up here as we head into, as I mentioned, the final couple of hours. Tesla, 2%, Amazon, about 1.5%. It's been all about tech all day long. All of these, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Apple, NVIDIA, to name a few, even AMD in here, 1.4 to the downside. Lots of red to kick off the afternoon. Guys, I'll sift through some of these comments, see if there's anything important. We'll come back and start talking about individual names.
Coinbase is absolutely ripping. It's up 3%. It's approaching the $80 level from this morning, which if you were watching, that was a kind of a big turnaround zone. It's a pretty big move here having Bitcoin. You can obviously talk about what's going on with Beige Book, and if we hear anything, like Brendan hears anything, he'll let you guys know. 81 is a decent level as well here on Coin. I'm looking to play a curl here. It just feels like too much, too far, too fast. Too far, too fast? Yeah, that's about right.
That makes sense.
We'll use, too far, too fast on that kind of move without anything coming through crazy in the wire. Like a lot of things were moving, a lot of altcoins as well made some big power moves. Like it's not just Bitcoin.
Really?
Oh, I don't want to chase this.
Let's go.
Don't want to chase. This is already starting to turn into the downside. This could be at VWAP, which is $1.50 away here on Coin to the downside. But the market is coming in. I had that AAL from yesterday, which is already, whoa, no.
Let's go.
That just, UAL, I should say, that just came out, so it looks like I took profit on that. But I'm now into Coinbase. I like this to the south side. If this market reverses here, I don't know what caused that big of a move. That was $3 on Coin bottom to top. If you can get to VWAP, I'd be happy at this point.
All right, what's up, everybody? Yeah, we are hella short everything. We're short 6 names now. Roku, Microsoft. Look at Roku, guys. $6 in the money right now on this Roku short off the failed 91. Boom. Straight down. So we're still holding this one. Not many shares, but we're going to hold it anyways. And then we just re-upped AMD, right? We got stopped out right before that beige book. Then we got back in when we kind of like all clear. Still short Microsoft right here. Again, just short into here. So far, so good. Uh-oh, Intel. Intel just got out. So Intel's the strong name, it looks like. Today, Intel all the way to the upside. We were just testing this 75 level. It just broke, so boo on that. We were just cruising, baby, for it. But yeah, look at the shit show that is AMC today. We shorted more shares at $10, and it's just been, like, to be short at 12 and then short again at 10, I mean, we never were in danger. I mean, what a crazy day. Today, every day seems to be one of them days.
Today just feels a little crazier for AMC because what's weird is like we ended at 11 o'clock. I'll never forget this. It's just like we got a question. It was like, when do we invest in AMC? And it wasn't a we. It was when is AMC a good investment?
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen this? I mean, this could it be back at $5 at some point? I don't know fundamentally what is a good value for this in terms of market cap. I have no clue. But the trend is telling you anything is possible. $5, and then after this raise, it's complete nonsense to the downside. The market is starting to slow down and roll over a little bit here, so hopefully Coinbase has calmed down. That is just wild price action. If you like the longs, then find a rally move, like one of those low float runners. That's why I'm in Pally to the long side. I don't like any longs. Maybe Intel. Now that you were just talking about that.
Yeah.
This is pretty strong. Maybe Intel is the other way at this point.
I can't believe I shorted it.
Obviously, like the market is still trending to the downside. This broke all the way and is above the morning range. It's pretty much at par, and it's trying to hold green today. I'm feeling like this could be the big cap or the market mover that we want to the long side. I should maybe check out Micron because it's definitely not NVIDIA. NVIDIA is underneath VWAP. Micron still hasn't broken that 71. I'm looking for anything else that is showing this kind of strength. It seems like it's just Intel. Good for them. If it holds green here and this market holds 15.3, I think Intel is probably a long, but I've sat it out since the morning. That's wild.
All right, let's get into a few things that we were discussing if you're with us in the pre-market this morning. A couple of notable comments here. Nothing that we haven't heard, Sharif and I were just talking about this, nothing that we haven't heard in the past, but job growth subdued across the nation from all districts. Fed's district saw consumers exhausting, or some saw consumers exhausting savings and turning to debt, which actually could be a positive because some of this inflation, or a lot of people have been pointing to the fact that there was so much savings on the sidelines coming out of COVID that who knows, maybe that was the uptick for the overall market. But I mean, nothing we really haven't seen or heard before as far as the beige book is concerned. So let's talk a little bit about what we were dealing with this morning. One of those things, Apple, ugly day. That's the overall market right now. Ugly day on this China note this morning. Government officials in China not going to be able to use, how did they word it again? Foreign branded devices, including Apple's iPhone, even though the majority of which are manufactured in China.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily the concern that there's a lot of government employees that are going to be using it. They're not going to be using it. I think it's the fact that it sets a precedent, and it could spiral from there. We saw this in the United States where they banned TikTok on a lot of government devices. We haven't seen the eventual TikTok ban that we were all, I guess if you were long Meta, I guess you were hoping for that. But yeah, that's the look today.
In some cases, statewide or individual government agencies. I wanted to point out this at the bottom of the screen here for Apple, volume today. There it is. Volume today versus where we've been over the past few days here, definitely higher than normal, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we knew, unfortunately, Apple from the jump here was always a problem. So we initially shorted this 188 breakdown. Our best out was down here at 185. Just thought it was retracing back to the upside. Obviously, now it just drips all the way down. And now this is what Apple looks like. So in what was a short right away at 933, we shorted that pre-market breakdown. And then honestly, you're still making moves. So I just put a short right now. I mean, who cares? The thing about this is it doesn't really make much sense to talk about what's already happened because Brennan just did it. So let's just talk about what we're looking for. I mean, I feel like that's the better way to do this. 183, if we can get up to 183, I like to reshort the 50 period and then use 183.20 as a possible out. So obviously Apple just continues to the downside. So down 3.7% today. I want it to go lower so I can buy some more shares, but we've sort of been talking about this, and like I said, man, we had Michael Noss on yesterday where we talked about the equal weights versus the overweights in the RSP and the SPY. And yeah, there was some trouble underneath the hood as the NASDAQ names today getting hit just a little bit. NASDAQ's actually down 1.1%. ES today only 0.86. So, today it's the NASDAQ's move down. Obviously, Apple, the largest constituent in both of these. So, not helping the market today is Apple, and it was kind of an easy story, right? I mean, getting banned there in China. The problem is, and that this is what you were saying there, Brendan. Come on, man. Apple, really, they employ over 1 million people in China. Yeah, so I feel like they're going to have to either slow the roll on all this or just get it figured out because they're not going to be banned for a long time here. So might be want to buy up some weakness until this story figures itself out.
Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense that this could, if you look at the weekly chart on Apple,
the market's breaking.
170, 175 makes some sense. Now, you mentioned very briefly there, I heard that TikTok ban and then Meta has never really been doing anything. Meta was one of the stronger names this morning, and it looked like if the market was going to break out today, I wanted a long. The market didn't break out, so you don't see any longs from me on Meta. But I did want to break out on Meta today, but things have changed. It's caught up, so the NASDAQ down 1%, it's down 1%. I'm looking at this 298. That market just made a pretty good bounce, and Meta still holding beneath VWAP. The trend is a little bit unbroken. There is a wick bottom, so there's some concern there. But if it gets back up to 298, I missed the last curl on it. I would give it one more shot to be a short. I just feel like almost everything is trend to the downside. So let's play that until proven otherwise. Maybe the notable exception. Intel, I think, might be an exception, just based on looking at that chart recently. But I'm looking at Meta here in front of 298. If we do get another pop in the market, I'll try to fade into this one for a big cap tech runner to the downside. But there's plenty to get to on this board. And you want to talk about ugly charts. I mean, the next one on the list ain't any better there, Brendo.
I didn't even look at.
GitLab, back to the downside. We were discussing this if you watched Lunch Money today at 12 o'clock. Make sure you tune in every single day. Big, ugly, this is the daily chart, big, ugly red reversal candle forming here. So all of these on this side that are red are negative notes. So all of these are basically analyst notes or cautionary analyst notes, price target cuts or cautionary notes essentially on GitLab today, even though earnings were better than expected across the board.
Yeah, like you said, they beat on the top and bottom line. They turned a small profit, but here we go. Brendo alluding to this, $65 price target raised by Barclays from 60. You also had BofA Securities maintaining their price at 62. TD Cowen as well, raising to 63 from 56. So it's a mixed bag here, Brendo. We'll see. Down 0.75%.
10, 11, 12. I was just counting 13 of them, in fact, on GTLB. But yeah, ugly candle now on the daily chart, guys.
We talked in Lunch Money. We talked about this as a reversal candle. Should have taken. We took AMC. We took Pally. We didn't take. I didn't short GitLab. I said the trend is to the downside. And you can look at yesterday's range, and that's essentially what the afternoon trade was, which is just above the 50, 50 and a quarter, and then the bottom was 49 and a half, and that's exactly what it did. Like it just gave you yesterday's range as a top, and then follow the trend to the downside, and then Bob's your uncle. I think this might just be a short back into 42, 43 on the daily reversal candle, fill in. It's not a gap, but fill in the range. Not a great look. When you beat and you go to the downside and people thought it was overvalued to begin with from a valuation standpoint, it's a short till it's not. That's the only phrase that comes to mind here. Maybe it catches a bid. I was all for this if it could have broken out at 55. That's the thing about earnings. If you like something when it's breaking in a new range, yeah, sure, it's great if it broke 55, but just because I wanted that to happen and I would have been long had it happen doesn't mean you actually have to go for the long in the stock. It never presented you with that breakout trade to try to squeeze to the upside. It's just been a sell all day. Unfortunate for GitLab and in a raising rate environment potentially, because I think the odds, I don't know what's going on with the beige book here, but they might be ticking up there. You keep seeing the 10-year creep a little bit higher. That's not great for something like a GitLab. And this reaction to what wasn't bad earnings, at least in terms of expectations, not a great sign. That is a reversal candle times 10.
Yeah, right now we're just, let's talk about Microsoft because we're in it right now. We've been hitting the short to the downside, It looks like right now, breaking through 75, we'll be out of that rate, just coming right back into here. So almost out of this Microsoft break short. That sucks. We've done well on Microsoft today. It's actually not. AMC is my number one stock, but Microsoft's number two right now. Looking to break out through this level right now as the market is starting to go back up to the upside. I still don't think so, but we'll have to get out and then regroup on some of these shorts. We got stopped out of our AMD short, which is fine. AMD is a positive name for us. We were just short, and then it broke, so a little bit of a hit there. Ooh, I didn't even notice that it just went up to VWAP and stopped right there. Okay, well we are short Microsoft, trying to watch out for that name. So all right, I don't have any GitLab trades, but it is very tough to trade earnings. We're going to talk about Roku when we get there. You guys know I'm in that one, so yeah, we'll have to hold off on my GitLab trading for now.
Yeah, a lot of these daily charts turning into the same thing. Here's a block we were talking about as well with this move down right now, actually. In some of the crypto markets, there's a daily chart or daily candle forming for square or block, depending on how old you are. A lot of analyst moves on this morning as well. There was really no significant news on this morning. I guess it was more just some cautionary tales for Square as well.
Yeah, and it was an interesting look there on the midday. We saw Bitcoin popping up quite aggressively. I wasn't really sure exactly why, maybe in anticipation of the beige book. But yeah, they got a downgrade today, and we've been talking about this. They've had a hard time as of late to kind of restructure the company. We'll continue to see how they do. They're down on the day.
Yeah, I think it was this 55 level, I want to say. We were talking about it on the show a couple of weeks ago, but ends up being the bottom on that last move to the downside for Block. Not a lot of volume behind this move. It's worth noting today, guys.
Well, it was a 57 level. I'll get to that in a quick second, but you'll see I'm no longer in coin. It didn't run the high of the day, but I'm not going to hold this to 80. right? Like 80 is a top level. I shorted the consolidation and gave it to a local high right in here at 65. So about 25 cents worth of risk. I think if you're going to fight it, have a tight out, tight stop, and this is looking very, very strong. And again, it's very similar to like how do you preserve capital. Square, I like it. Sure, where's the data? Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, it's filling in. Sweet. It's all morning long. I was kind of missing some data on my Square chart. But I had it. 57 actually was a wick bottom. And this is where it maybe should have been sniffed out, but for potential long, because 57 was a flat bottom break that broke and then wick bottomed. So it could have been maybe a reversal long there. But I was only thinking short on Square, which meant short when it got to this previous support level, stop out at break even, then short off the high of the day. That was a stop out. I took one more shot for a curl above and then got stopped out. I never really got back into it. That was like the dog this morning. Was like all the nice trades in the morning, and this was the bad one. But at the end of the day, like you have to be able to, you got to be able to understand you were never going to bat 1,000, right? That's like a baseball term, so it's like 100%, right? But you have to be able to take the shots and only trade at key price levels. If I'm going to go against the grain, it's going to happen to you sometimes, but mostly short all day long. So sometimes if something was going to squeeze today, there would be a short that could lose. And given how good all the other shorts were, it kept making sense that block to me was going to be a short. The daily chart is showing you a trend to the downside. Like I look at it, even as I'm staring at it right now, I'm like, look at the 60 level on the daily. It's like this, to me, this stock is still a trend short unless it's breaking out at $60. But you have to have yourself out here. That tends to preserve some of the capital so you can stay alive for all the other great shorts that there were today here on Block. What's interesting is with this move up in crypto, it didn't even get green on Square. So it's still in some ways a bit of a dog here. Like lower highs, doesn't get anywhere back to the tops. Literally talking myself into being short this as Bitcoin is now pulling back a little bit as well. Maybe there is still a short here.
Yeah, we're short Coinbase. We're 20 cents in the money on Coinbase. But I mean, as far as Square is concerned, yeah, I mean, this perfect. Like, you know, we had it, kept shorting it. Now we still have it. We'll see if it breaks back down below. Kind of a BS downgrade there. Someone revised their opinion on Square a little bit lower, and I don't know if it went from a buy to neutral or some. I don't know. But anyways, we shorted it. Not great. Should have waited for 60. We did, but not early enough on that one. Wow, we're making a little bit of money back here on something. Oh, AMC. Wow, AMC just continues. I was watching my net, and I know Microsoft has come back to life a little bit. So we got some more outs there at the 200 and at the 50 at 30 cents. So those were nice dip downs there. You got to be careful when you're trading these because they get pretty damn aggressive on these. You know, these like right there, we're just at 45, now we're back down to 35. And for me, scalper life, man, you got to still cake these outs when they're there. We're only short at 50 now, so we're just short right here. Would love for this thing to flush down. We're now below the 50 period here on the NASDAQ. Hopefully we can get a little bit more of a flush down. But Square, I'll just hold it all day, man. We're $6 in the money on Roku, $1.50 here on Square, and an amazing 7 cents on Microsoft. So let's see if that can continue to work. And here's Coinbase. There it is right there. Spent a little bit of money for Coinbase right there. So we just said we took some out. We're taking some more out right now. So we just got 40s on Coinbase. So 25 cents there quickly. And again, it doesn't get much easier than this. This top, you know, $80. I'm going to short against that. So there we go. We take it. 35 cents, 1-to-1 already. Hopefully we get some more down here out, and then we'll see what happens with Coinbase back down to the downside. And look, like we just got another. Like look at this. We just got another fill right here at 30. Right there on Microsoft again. So, oh man, I wish we were short up there, but we're not. Okay, that's Microsoft. Hopefully the market will, as Sharif likes to say, quadunk from here. And we'll see if we get some action on the market going into the close before Beige Book. But okay, nice move again. Oh no, Coinbase did not. It's bouncing right now. I'm also bidding 15s on Coinbase. Let's change that to about, I mean, that was the bottom. All right, let's just wait to see what happens with Coinbase. All right, we're short on Coinbase. Go over to about Roku.
Yeah, the march continues back downside here. If you remember, at one point in the pre-market, this thing was up 10%. Now just 1.4%. You do that math. It hasn't been a great day. Straight march downside. I mean, we probably filled this gap today. If you missed it this morning, they increased their guidance, cut 10% of their workforce, or announced 10% reduction in workforce once again. That caused the initial gap to the upside here, but heavy volume at the open, and then a quick reversal off that 96 today.
Yeah, that's a textbook gap fill right there. And you don't always see that happening. Yeah, but as Brenda alluded to, they're getting rid of some of their leases for offices. They're going to have to pay one-off charges for that. They're getting rid of some of their employees. They're going to have to pay packages for that. So it's a good look from a revenue perspective because they guided higher mid-earnings season. But yeah, there's going to be one-off charges.
Just a heads up on Peloton, guys. Looks like Peloton is now presenting. So Peloton, the software, is now on the Microsoft Azure marketplace. That was the announcement they just came out with. So Peloton presenting at this Goldman Sachs event.
It's been on Apple's whatever for
Peloton's literally at the low of the day, down 8%.
Guys,
so it's not bouncing even a little bit. That's nasty on Peloton.
Coinbase right now, alert. There it is, man. And it's another one. It's another 50-cent barbecued up profits right now. As there goes Coinbase down to 79 right now. So I'm glad that we put that on. I'm glad we talked about that earlier. There goes Coinbase flushing back in right there off of a pretty good level of 80. Let's see how much further it goes. Yeah, that sounds about right. To the downside. So we'll see. It's 79 right here at the 50 period. Next area of concern, 78.60. So let's just make sure we got a bid down there on Coinbase. Yeah, I was waiting for more. 79.90 was where I was waiting again for more Coinbase. But how many shares? Okay, that's good. We can just take out a third if it comes back down. Okay, so watch out for that one. Roku. Okay, so we tweeted this out, man. What was a great long early on for Roku. I thought with the momentum, we definitely took it. We took it again. We took it again. Then we went short and kind of got tossed around a little bit until the short really started to pay, man. And then these last couple shorts here, 91, out 90s, out 89s, and now it's just bleeding, and we're still in this short. So this could be something that we talked about at 4 o'clock on our trade review. Nice moves up, now nice move down. Oh, baby. We just got a nice fill there as well on Softy down in the 20s. So that's going to be good. But let's just look at Roku now because who cares really what's been happening. There's the gap fill right there all the way back to 84. If this is an out. So I'm going to put an out soon here on Roku. Nice little, was that really? That's more than 1%. Well, now it's only 1%, but I guess, yeah, at one point it was up 12%. Yeah, okay. So we've almost filled this whole gap back in on Roku. So, yeah, let's just take advantage. And there's the Softy fill that we got. Look at this. All the way down there at 27s, it looks like. So as this market's pulling back in, we're doing pretty good here, holding on to some of these shorts. But, yeah, Roku. Now, I'm glad we noticed that. I feel like this is going to be an out. Out at 85 break, okay, guys? Out 85 break here. Let's just do it together. 85.06. Okay, we break it, we gone. So there it is. The order's now in for Roku. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it does not trigger, but that's a really great cover all the way back in. And again, sometimes, man, you play the news for what it's worth, and then you activate it after that. Peloton might break $6 here, by the way.
The fact that it didn't even move off of that news.
I mean, how come everybody's at this conference? Like, TraderTV.live
Live.
We
should be at the conference, apparently. I'd short the first available pop in Peloton after that. Like, looking at the chart, I expected to see a pop on the Peloton chart when I looked at it. But there's one thing to note on this. Like, I know volumes aren't big at this time of year, but if you look at Roku compared to that $20 day move and the days following this, like the volume on this move to the upside and then now subsequently coming back into the downside, it's not a lot of volume. So maybe it's just a harbinger of not some good things here, because that's another reversal candle. GitLab was a big reversal candle. Like, this is kind of, it's more or less the same thing. Like, it got into a big resistance level after reporting, and then it's a monster reversal. Ooh, I just got Meta. That means Meta popped up here. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a pop on Meta into that 297.5, which we just grabbed. So if it can hold 298, I think this is an inflection point in the future. So things that are at resistance, this is the futures level. It will support. You know what? If I zoom out, you can kind of see this 15.3 level on the NASDAQ was a support level the last time we broke out, and it's having some trouble staying above that level. So you're getting a little bit of a battle at a previous key level. If it doesn't hold on, back underneath, I think you want to be adding to shorts here. So that's the NASDAQ. I just got into Meta. We'll talk about the airlines and then get into some other names here, because not on that board is some of the runners that we're talking about earlier, and of course AMC, which we have yet really to go over. Spoiler alert, it's at the low of the day.
Yeah, if there is a positive note in the market today, it's probably some of these travel names, UAL included, still positive on the day, but off the highs, obviously. We had these all downside on guidance revisions this morning. Right across the board, Delta, Love, UAL, Southwest, obviously, all with higher cost warnings going forward. Wanted to mention this as well. That's Bitcoin, right back down. So we had that crazy move up to 26 and then right back down for BTC.
Yeah, this is the reason why. Let's look at this chart. This is oil's chart, West Texas Intermediate, October 23 contract. As you can see, it's been quite bullish going to the middle of July, and I can suggest to you, if I zoomed out a bit, there was that 67 level that held. Now we're talking about $88, and some analysts looking at the $100 barrel. By the end of the year, that's had some of these airlines revise their cost per gallon up into the $3 figure, which definitely eats into margins. Margins have been their strength this year as the consumer has been spending on upgrades like first class, economy premium, etc. And that's where they make the majority of their money. That's going to get eaten into by higher oil prices.
Just seeing this APLT starting to go again. There was a note early on this morning on FDA. Or pre-NDA meeting for the FDA. For this one, that's Bitcoin. APLT, guys, back to the upside as well.
So the good thing about setting up a level or setting up a trend or setting up anything in terms of a trade is, again, you can be patient with it. You don't have to fight it. Just because I liked UAL short and I liked it off the same level as yesterday when they had that little bit of an outage, okay, so what happens? At the open, it simply just breaks out right past my 48.60 level. It turns around at 50. I wait until it shows weakness off the price level I like. So there's your 48.60. It comes back and starts bouncing. The second it breaks down from that consolidation, we're like, okay, we're back underneath where I think it's weak. We start shorting it then. Not before, not above, only when it's breaking down. And now we're shorting off this level, kind of looking for the gap fill back in. That's the idea of being patient. Don't have to worry about all this mess. Eventually, look, if it goes up from here, you could short, and eventually it ends up starting to work out, or wait until it rolls over past the price that I like, and then suddenly it's a bit trend down on UAL. We'll see what happens in the afternoon. I like that 48.60 area. I'll reload it there. This Pally, we did go back into Pally after it held the halt price another time. First time we got to like 190 here and we were able to get it out, then trailed out at 170 because it looked like it was going to halt down there. Ends up bouncing off 140 one more time, so took that 150 long again. It got to 170, and then we're holding on for more. But this is not nearly as strong as it was before. The volume's tapering off on PALI, so I want to give it a chance to go. But the long was essentially first halt price. When that level holds, go for the long, consolidated long in front of it. That's it. I think you take that setup and find a way to risk 10, 15 cents on one of these things, and at least that makes it reasonable from a risk to reward standpoint. And if it doesn't go, it's not the end of the world. And if it does, fantastic. Like one of these things is going to go HKD at some point again, and you just want to make sure that you can get into a trade without having to risk like a 100% move or something or get trapped in a halt. So I am in that Pally long. I think if the market breaks out from here, I'm still thinking Intel might be it. It's still holding near these highs. It's so strong right now. It was interesting. Like there was just no red from that bottom as the market isn't really bouncing that much. Intel's holding green. At some point, I take a shot at this above 36.60 and just realize this is now a trend up stock actually.
And guys, this is why we're scalping. Like Microsoft could get stopped out right now. We just got fills in the 40s and the 20s. I mean, we were showing you all the fills. And here it goes, man, as the market is trying to basically get above this IB low and then trying to break out of the level that it was just at, 15.4 basically is right there. And we're trying to take out 15.375 right now. It's looking like it is going to do that. So we're going to have to be very, very careful here. Slippery slope, I'd like to say, with this one. So 10 more cents and we down on Microsoft. But like I said, man, we're putting in damage and taking names on this. So it's been okay. But it looks like our name will get taken as this last trade might get squashed. I talk like this and I'm short at 53, 4 cents out of the money right now, like ridiculous. All right, Roku really started to continue to fade. I said our out would be 85. Okay, so that's still valid right there. We could go a little bit lower, but it is starting to fade even more now. And then just so everybody knows, like I don't even know what to do right now other than it was a good idea to short AMC. And not only did we have $1 the first time, multiple dollars, we have $1 the second time. right now. So this is going to be my #1 stock today, and for good reason. So there it is right now. Unfortunately, like I said to everybody, this is trading. I mean, and I just know there's a lot of traders that might have lost money trading AMC and probably hate this name. So I don't know. Maybe the fact that we're shorting it, maybe you made some money back if you didn't. It's been an easy one because of the reverse split, right? Everything that reverse splits. I mean, we could talk about WeWork a little, but I haven't traded it today. But again, like
it jumped again.
Yeah, short any of these pops, like, you know, well, we talked about $4 the other day. I don't know why we didn't look at it today, right off the open. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I normally I was looking at it for $4, but that was a good one. All the way down to $3.30. Oh my God! As you continue to go. Okay, so there we go. Microsoft again. You know, not just going to sit here like I say all the time and talk about like all these great trades and not show you that we just lost on Microsoft. And that's what we talked about, getting them out. Now all my orders are canceled on that one. That's why you want to scalp City. And we're almost in another play. We just put this trade on right now, and it's a dollar club for Coinbase. So Coinbase right now is $1 in the money. So here we go to the downside on that name. Look, this is why you get the hell out of Microsoft. Look what's happening right now. Huge move up right now for Softy. The market's starting to break long as well. That should trigger our out soon on Roku probably. We don't really have a level on Square, but that could have just been out right there, taking out the 50 period. Let's use VWAP of 58.40 on Square and get out of that one in case all hell does break loose here in the market. But we're still pretty comfortable with everything.
I mean, Intel's absolutely flying. I'm gonna
should have just gone long that one.
I'm gonna bid a little. I'm already bidding 36.70 here. We're gonna get to that in a second there, Fabian. Just wanna. I mean, you're breaking high of the day on Intel, so I'm gonna step my bid up here. I will be out of meta in about 10-15 cents. I just wanted to reiterate something. When you talk about relative strength and weakness, one note here: as the market just made another leg up, UAL just failed. Lower. So in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, I should be adding the UAL in the next pop and a little bit more aggressively, but let's go back to the desk.
A rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by everyone you see on the show. See what's moving in the moment. Check out the QR code, bottom right corner of the screen, guys. Take advantage of this if you haven't. Great deal, 20% off. TraderTV20. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas.
Thank you very much. And it's not just Intel, and Micron is also going as well. I mean, the NASDAQ,
short Apple here
the markets are starting to go, but here's an idea of what's happening here. Just take a look at Micron. If this gets above yesterday's high, this could be an absolute blowout as well. It's a consolidation top. 71.15 is yesterday's top. If it gets to that, I have a line drawn kind of at 70.75 because that's where the short was yesterday. So I should probably get rid of that. Again, that was just a resistance line I drew for myself when we were shorting it in the afternoon. It doesn't mean anything right now. So I should just remove that line, get rid of it. I don't know why I didn't just go. There we go. We'll get rid of that. 71.15. If we bust that, I think it could go absolutely parabolic. One more to get to. I think that I don't necessarily think the trade is over in AMC. It gave you a flat bottom break, and I'll get into that. It's very, very obvious. We talked about this on the daily. Since the split, the bottom was like 1070. Well, if you kind of look at these previous prices, sometimes people look at these things and reverse split, it shouldn't matter. I think it could catch a little bit of a bid here off that $9 level. It's already wicked it once, and it could be popping. So I was offering 10s to add. The 1070 is the last thing we have. If it bounces here and doesn't get through 950, I think it's a 950 short, and then hold it into the end of the day. If there is no big relief rally to VWAP, I think you just short this thing until it eventually loses. That was the attitude with Bed Bath & Beyond. I think that should be the attitude here when it comes to AMC. So that out of the way, it's time to figure out a way to get into this Intel long. Every time I stick a bit higher thinking it's going to dip in, it does not. I don't want to be stuck taking a 37 break if it gets to 37 when there's been opportunities to get in around 75. So the next dip, we're going to try and pick up some Intel here. Again, the market hasn't really blown out, but Intel is pretty strong. And it just made a pullback into the local high before. So we're in it for the first time for the long side today and probably in a while, quite frankly. I actually don't remember the last time I took a day trade long on Intel. I'm sure I did recently. Worth mentioning, it is still at a triple top on the daily. So if it does clear 37, 37.5 is a monster triple top. But it's got 70 cents till it gets there, or at least 60 cents till it gets there. That's plenty of room for this to get even higher. So I'll take some out at 37. There's always a chance, trade with a stop, that this could be something related to the conferences that are going on here, with Micron also starting to go as well.
We just shorted Apple. I mean, you know, here I am. Hey, what's up? I'm Sean. Fighting Microsoft over and over and over again, as if. There's Apple right now. It's instantly in the money. We just took 20 cents on some pieces there. Let's see if it goes even lower right now. I mean, this is the short. We just took it right here against 183. It's a nice move down. Will it hold it? I don't know. We're already out of half as we're just trying to scalp. We're just trying to top our day off, trying to scalp out here. If the market tanks, I mean, now we've got Apple short. So, I mean, I think that's the right one to have short right there. If it does continue to go, it looks like Square's still going. AMD, I mean, really took off of that. Like Neil was just talking about Micron, and you know, let's just check out NVIDIA again, because why even bother to look at some of these other ones? Like when you have the right name there, you might as well just trade it. NVIDIA down 3% right now. Let's have a quick look. So we're still a little bit away from VWAP. That's 473. We like to trade off that level, of course, and 472 coming back into play. I don't know, man. It's funny because like NVIDIA moves on crypto news sometimes and sometimes doesn't, moves on gaming news, sometimes doesn't. And right now, I just think the valuation, although it's not very rich considering, you know, what they're forecasted for moving forward and sort of what's behind and underneath the hood with NVIDIA. I mean, we know that their chips just keep getting bought, big data, storage, AI, everything is here for NVIDIA, but today it looks like there's a little bit of risk off on this name coming through. Okay, what's Apple doing right now? So that's why you get some out when Apple does that. So now that we're out of it, not out of it, we told you we got out of more than half, we're gonna try to reload this thing up at 183. So it's pretty easy there. If it goes back up to 183, we'll short it. Then we're gonna use this pretty much local high. We do have the 200 period here as well at 25. So let's see if that came through. What just filled? Something just filled me up there. Roku, okay, so there it is right there. It's a $6 winner right now, so we're smoking on Roku, but there's the cover right there off of that short, just broke through 85. So, you know, we'll throw that one up and, you know, good trade there for Roku. But realistically, man, right now, I'm just trying to focus on Apple as the market is right here right now. So something's happening right here. Let's see what happens now with this trade. Hopefully we don't break higher. VWAPs could come through 15,400. We kind of talked about that. That's right where we stopped last time. So let's put a nice little line there so we can look at that 15,400. This is the initial balance low right there. And that's where we're sort of hovering around right now. So 15,400, the next look for me on this trade, because Apple's Apple, right? I mean, we could trade the futures. That's pretty much like Apple, but we do have an important note to come too. Hopefully crypto getting added to our platform very, very soon with a more proper adding. So we're not just trading the ETFs or stuff like that. Spot coins would be really nice. And we have Natalie Brunell coming out pretty soon to talk about crypto as well. So that's the kind of, is that you, Fabian? All right, I'll take it. Right there. So should be a good interview as well with Brendo at the desk.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, you're looking at that move that just happened in Bitcoin. Like, it wicked 26,000. I mean, like, it's pretty much right up the alley. Instead of having to jump to, like, Mara, Riot, Coinbase, like anything else, you could just be obviously trading it. So we're pretty darn excited for that. I think it's going to be good. Looking for something else that can be along if we continue to break out here. I have Intel, which is near that high. You're getting a dip now in Micron. This could be another one. So previous top here at 70.40. I know it wicked higher than that. But if it can hold the bottom end of this range, or hold the previous top of this range on any kind of a dip, hold the breakout price, stair step up. When you're looking for dip buys, VWAP sometimes is obvious, but we're a little far away from VWAP. This double top at 70.30 could make sense. But then after that, I start to look at, you know, previous highs. You're already green on Micron, super strong name. It was the first of the companies that are presenting at that NVIDIA thing that rallied yesterday and then gave a lot of it up. But, you know, still, if you look at the daily chart and this 15-minute, you're essentially in a strong consolidation at the top. Like, that's a strong looking consolidation up there. Really should be favoring long on Micron when you zoom this chart out a little bit here. And then you look at the daily chart, it's like, yeah, it really should be favoring the long, at least until it gets to 72.5, definitely until it gets to 75. Like, let's be real. This is a good looking chart on multiple time frames, and it hasn't really had a bad day since, what is this, like the 24th of August. Micron's actually been strong. Micron. So I don't know, it worked out to short it in the afternoon yesterday, but when I zoom out, it's like really should have actually been looking for a long. I'm out of Meta. This market seems like it wants to break back up. You know, looking for some longs above 15.3 is going to make some sense. Intel and now Micron, I think, make a lot of sense here.
Yeah, you're breaking above everything. I mean, you're starting to come into some of these key levels here. You know, so I'll call up Tesla here. We're just red on Tesla today. Damn it. All right, so we had a couple big trades here, stopped out there. We didn't get out of it all, so that was probably about a flat. Then we made money here, and then we lost on our last piece there for Tesla. So it's a small red trade. I mean, I wish I could tell you we were up on it. But what about Tesla right here at 252? I'm only looking short. I mean, the NASDAQ's down 1%. I'm liking the short, but again, Tesla, which took names early, man. Tesla was down huge. Tesla got down to 245 today, and now is all the way up to 252. This is a nice little run for this name as Apple's retracing a little bit. We didn't get any more short, though. That's a good little level there, 252. So if you're looking at Tesla, this could be it, man. At 250, I mean, you want to. I feel like you'd rather trade it if it broke this 250 back down, but if you're trying to like make one of those hero kind of calls where, you know, you're trying to short sort of this exact support area, would be 252. Or if anybody right now is long, look at what's happening right here. You're not breaking this level despite the NASDAQ going for a little bit of a jaunt. So nice move here for sure in Tesla, but again, 252 coming into play on that name. This is what, I mean, look, we're still in AMC. AMC is an absolute.
Oh my God.
I mean, now it's 80 cents. You know, I mean, this is 87 cents right now. So, I mean, the more this goes down, the worse obviously it is for everybody. So, not great, man. Move the decimal place because remember you did buy tens. Or no, split 10 to 1. Yeah, it was 10 to 1, right? So, huge move. Look at AMC. I'm glad everyone watches the show, and I'm glad we're here every day for everybody, but it's like I can't say that enough about these reverse splits. You know, every single day pretty much AMC's been on the watch list to go down to the downside, right? I mean, I have them up all right here. I can show you them the last couple of days. I mean, here it is right here. AMC, this was, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. AMC short 1350, it's right here. Just keeps on going on and on and on. All these watch lists that I keep, sticky notes that I keep here. And it's just like, since that day, man, it's just been like, Look, I wonder why I said 1350. Look at that right there. But anyways, still straight downside here. That reverse split is just nasty, and then they drop that news about the 40 million. It's just, it's not a good story for anybody that's long, and unfortunately, AMC just paying the piper today. There could be an eventual move to the high side. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe tomorrow it tries to catch a little bit of a bid, but right now, the short float, that's wrong. It's 29%. So they didn't, I think we talked about that. We looked it up on Float Checker. And it was 29%. I think that Trade Ideas did not, oh, that's FinViz. Let me just check what it is on FinViz because I don't think it got adjusted properly there on Trade Ideas. So hold on a second. Here's AMC, SSSSSP, where's S? Short float, shortable. Why can't I see the short float on here? I haven't looked at this in forever. Oh, there it is. It's all the way up here. Right there, short, no, that's short float. What am I even doing? Oh, short interest? What am I doing here? Short ratio, right there. Oh no, that must be right. It's only showing 2.2%.
Well, hang on a second, because I always like to check Flow Checker then when you get multiple resources because TD Ameritrade 26, Yahoo Finance 32, Morningstar 32. Then you have Wall Street Journal and FinViz saying these other numbers, but 3 out of these 5 are indicating closer to 30%.
I just feel it's post-split.
Yeah, like my guess is these guys. Some people have updated and some have not. Yeah. That's probably just the case. Always look for multiple sources. And remember that all short floats are estimates. But if you're looking for why to trade this stock, flat bottom breaks are good when stocks go down. $12 flat bottom break in here, $10.70 flat bottom break in there. 2 places. The second, it just broke bottoms today. And it's a short till it's not, like I was saying. This market is still trying to go up. Intel's at the high. We did buy it at the top. It needs to get to 37 for it to continue going. And I think it's probably a short up here at 37.30. It just needs to get there. So if it gets to 37, I will take some out in the 90s and then just play this, hopefully trend up. I did reload UAL because for whatever reason, this is holding weakness with some lower highs. As the market pumped up, this made a lower high. I'm like, okay. If the market's going higher and this is still stair-stepping down, let's reload it here, give it back to that same 60 level that we were trading off of before, sort of adjust my stop because I don't want to give it to that other local high. start to tighten things up when you're trading to the short side there. So reload on UAL. I'm still thinking this could continue to stair step down, especially given it's trending downside as the market is going higher. I always like that kind of a look. So Intel, still the only thing I have long that isn't a small cap, like Pally. Pally bounced off VWAP again. I'll take one more out in front of 170, and if it gets to the high of the day, fair enough. The volume doesn't seem like it's there for some kind of $2 and then break and then halting and all that stuff. The volume's died down, so you got to take the scalp trade here.
I mean,
What's up?
I just put in the chat. So the market's going up, right? So look at my chart. Look what Roku just did. Like, we got out at 85, and then it just went down immediately, down another $1.30 or something like that. So there it goes, man. Flush Central. Oh, man, that's frustrating, but that's okay. Because honestly, let's do this right now, because we're just adding to the damage that we've already done on Apple. I mean, we just reshorted this one. It's too bad because we were really close to getting a lot more shares there at 183. So here we go, man. Here's a nice downside push. I am bidding 56s right now. See if we can get that. My best fill was 62 on this move down. So see, it just keeps on bouncing off 60. We can take another bid here at 60. We'll just join those lineups right here, take another fill if it does come back in. Again, we're only short at 77. There's a 56. Yes, sir. So we'll spin it this time because we're finally getting some better fills coming through right now. So what's up to Jay Lee here? Well, let's see who's in the chat. So Jay Lee right now. So I guess AMC might pop due to short flow when it gets to near $1 again. Oh my God.
I mean, if it gets to $1, it's probably worth a shot long.
This is going.
I would think so, but
get ready to have a Q behind or in front behind that symbol very, very soon, man. I mean, 10 cents pre-reverse split. I mean, they can just. I know everyone hates Adam Aaron at this point, but I mean, you know, maybe there's some more financial engineering that can be done here where it reverse splits again, and then we could just short the living crap out of it again. But I don't really know. Like, look at this. This is actually, now it's starting to get stupid. Like, why we even covered at any point, you know, but I guess that's hindsight, right? In trading, and I know Greg's not here anymore, but that was one of the things that we'd always said is that no matter what, you're always going to be wrong. There's never going to be the best price to get out of AMC or the best price to get out of a stock, or you're never going to short the absolute top. You know, like in Coinbase, we had $1 there, and it just, we could see this, and we only took one piece out. Why didn't we get out more, right? Because we're thinking it's going to test VWAP. That's why. So there's always going to be opportunities. It's just like that Bitcoin. Why not short the 26K? You know, because you think it's going higher. Like, there's always going to be spots where you're always second guessing all of your trades. So it doesn't really matter what you're doing. That's why we say have rules. You know, we're not just sitting here trading blindly. Like, I've got 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes, and they're just charts, so they're just fancy paintings and everything. But at the end of the day, you got to trust something, and let's just play with momentum, man. I mean, we shorted Apple to start the day right there at 188. Thought we were pretty hot stuff covering at 185 for $3, and then it was just Merck Central all the way back down into the downside again. You know, Apple down 4%. So did we have it right? Yes, we did. Because we had it on the sticky note as a short. It's just we gave it up. And it's because you don't know where these stocks are going to bounce. You know, I didn't think Apple had a 4% day in it today, but it does, right? NASDAQ down 1, Apple down 4. You know, find the last time that Apple was 4x what the NASDAQ was. You know, that's not going to be, maybe to the upside, but I wonder how last time that was to the downside. And there we go again, man. Let's hit the siren alert one more time because we just got our 50 fill right there on Apple. So let's see if it retraces. Here we go. Now it just broke 50. Okay. Not only is this going to be a great interview, but we've got some great positions on. So let's go back over to the big desk with Brendan.
There she is. We're happy to have her back. Natalie Brunell, host of Coin Stories podcast, back with us again to give us a little insight into not only what happened last week when it comes to the grayscale ruling and the SEC decision then that followed that, Natalie, but I want to get a little bit of insight into, I saw you had a trip to Mexico City a little bit earlier, not only this week, new podcast coming out as well. I saw tomorrow, so we'll touch on that towards the end. But let's dig into, this was a headline if anyone needs a little bit of a refresher going back to last week. The SEC losing this court decision, Grayscale essentially looking to turn over what happened when they were bypassed when they initially filed for this spot Bitcoin ETF. JP Morgan, among other analysts, then coming out saying that this is not only going to happen sooner than later, but expect more to come. So break this down for us, Natalie, if you can. Give us a little insight in, as far as you're concerned, what does this mean for the overall industry?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me back. This is definitely a victory, especially for those who want to see a spot Bitcoin ETF. And essentially, what the judges said is that the SEC was quote unquote arbitrary and capricious in their decision to turn down this conversion into a spot Bitcoin ETF for Grayscale. When they approved the futures ETFs, but then they went and said that there might be market manipulation in the spot ETF market. That confused a lot of people, especially Grayscale. And so they sued, and essentially the judges sided with them. So it's not clear what will happen next. The SEC has 45 days to respond. They could go back and actually agree with the federal court and say, you know what, we made the wrong decision and now we're going to accept the first spot Bitcoin ETF. Or they could say, you know what, maybe we were wrong on the futures ETFs and actually reverse that. But that does not seem likely because that's a pretty big market at this point. So a lot of people are feeling more and more bullish, but it seems like the SEC keeps kicking the can down the road. And one thing that I covered in my new segment on my podcast Coin Stories is the question of Binance, because Binance has such a huge share of Bitcoin trading right now, up to 50%. And so if there are questions surrounding Binance, the DOJ has been investigating them for some time. There's accusations of market manipulation and potentially fraud. They might want to get some clarity and answers about Binance before they do approve a spot Bitcoin ETF.
A lot of people are raising a little bit of alarms in the sense that if we do have the opportunity to trade a spot Bitcoin ETF as an equity versus the underlying, how much of the money that is currently invested into Bitcoin may then get transferred over into ETFs, simply because a lot of people are a little more comfortable with the regulations behind the stock market, obviously, versus crypto market, which is well discussed. But give me your thoughts when it comes to what could happen from that sense of maybe some people are a little more comfortable in an ETF versus Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think it could bring in a flood of demand because people have those traditional accounts with the legacy financial institutions that they trust. But those are the very third parties that Satoshi created Bitcoin to essentially obfuscate. But not a lot of people understand Bitcoin enough to take that self-custody step. I know that some people are really wary. It feels like a hurdle. It feels overly technical. Now, I'm in the space, right? So I believe that if you can drive a car, if you can have a baby, you can take your Bitcoin into self-custody. It's really easy to learn if you just take the time to educate yourself. But I do understand that a huge portion of the market is going to want, these rails that they are more familiar with and packaged in a way that they currently invest in stocks and commodities. So I think it will bring a flood of demand. And then it's really on the Bitcoin space to educate the public and make sure that they do take that next step and learn about self-custody so that they can make that decision on their own, because ETFs also have had fraud and you can't necessarily trust third parties. That's exactly what we learned and what we want to try to shift away from through a Bitcoin standard. So we'll see how this plays out, but I certainly do think that it'll be very bullish for the Bitcoin price, because whether or not these ETFs do get approved, that 21 million is a finite supply.
And all of these are going to need to hold, obviously, whatever the equivalent is or however they're set up. I want to get your take on the fact that Grayscale went through this process. Grayscale, flipped the bill as far as the legal action was concerned. But there's obviously many, many different companies and titans in this ETF industry that are obviously going to be knocking down this door and next in line for not only applying to get a Bitcoin spot ETF, but joining this race. So congratulations, Grayscale. You've won this court decision, but now you're going up against the BlackRocks of the world, the biggest of the big when it comes to these ETF companies. Is that a positive in your mind, in the sense that this is creating so much more competition in that sense?
Well, I definitely do think competition is good, but as far as the ETFs go, it's kind of the first one in the race is going to be the one that matters, and a flood of liquidity always goes to that first application that gets approved, just like it did with the futures ETF. So there's that first mover advantage, and so right afterwards, I think a lot of them are going to be approved one after the next. But as you can see, I think the SEC will try to drag it out as long as possible. We're coming upon the halving, which is going to be a bit of a supply shock, make it more difficult for the miners to be profitable. So we've got a lot of shifting dynamics, plus zoom out and we have this, macroeconomic headwind still with the Fed hiking interest rates and trying to tighten the balance sheet. So a lot of things going on. I'm not sure where Bitcoin will go in the short term, but I am bullish that in the long term, we will see ETFs, we will see more adoption, more companies putting it on the balance sheet because those FASB accounting rules are going to be changing and making it easier, paving the way for even more institutions and pension funds and all of that. So a lot of change to be had, I think, in this space over the next year.
We got a Bitcoin ETF. Why is that not followed then by an Ethereum ETF, a Solana ETF, Dogecoin ETF at some point? Is there a space somewhere along the way here for all of those?
I'm not sure what the SEC is going to be doing about any of the other tokens. What I've learned over the last 6 months is they really see a lot of clarity around Bitcoin, that it is the true digital commodity, that it is digital property, that it's truly decentralized. So it's not surprising to me that that's what they've been really focusing on, and that the BlackRocks are filing specifically, Bitcoin, spot Bitcoin ETFs. As far as the others, I think that there's a lot of unclarity, a lot of risk, and a lot of uncertainty ahead.
If we look out and zoom out, and you mentioned the fact that we're still seeing higher for longer as the main headline coming from the Federal Reserve, we're still dealing with 5.5% interest rates at this point. From a macro perspective, if we zoom out here, how does that specifically affect the price of Bitcoin in your mind going forward?
Well, I certainly think it does, because people really are trying to hold on to their money right now. They're trying to brace for a potential recession. There's a credit crunch. Auto delinquencies are up. Bankruptcies are up. I mean, there's definitely a crush in demand, which is what the Federal Reserve wanted to do. The problem is those lagging indicators. Did they hike too high too quickly? We just haven't really seen the effects of it yet. And, I try not to focus on the short-term volatility of the markets or Bitcoin's price, because when you zoom out, there are really two options, right? With all the debt that's in the system, we could either default and admit that we can't pay it back and try to restructure, or they're going to print. And between you and me, I'm pretty sure we're both very certain that they're going to have to print. And so if they're going to have to inflate and debase, that means you want to hold scarce assets. Bitcoin is the scarcest and the best engineered form of money that has ever existed. So that's why I'm really excited that actually we have this lower cost basis that people can enter in. 69,000. Now you can have almost three times the Bitcoin for the price. So I'm very passionate about educating people, because we do see that FOMO and people clamoring in when the price is higher. Right now is the time where, even though it's choppy and maybe Bitcoin's in the red, certainly off the highs, it's actually a better time to start to accumulate so that you can see the most upside. And the upside, I think, with Bitcoin is almost unlimited.
We've seen this very interesting price action. I want to get your take on it, with Bitcoin specifically, where you'll see an outsized move and then almost weeks and weeks and weeks of just sideways consolidation, and then another outside move, and then weeks and weeks and weeks of consolidation. I mean, just your thoughts. Is there reason behind that, or is it just the way that Bitcoin trades lately?
I think a lot of people are trading. I think that adds to the volatility. I think that people use leverage. I think people don't know which way to bet, up or down. That's why I'm a big proponent of dollar cost averaging and just saving, accumulating slowly over time. But I think we're going to continue to see that sideways chop, again, because of all the macroeconomic factors, because of the trading, because of the unclear, regulations and rules. So until this space grows and grows a little bit more significantly, I think there's going to be short-term volatility, with of course, again, that really big upside. And when you zoom out, the price performance has really spoken for itself. It's still outperformed almost any other investment you could have made over the last decade.
Brand new episode of Coin Story is coming out tomorrow. What can people expect?
Sure. So I had the chance to go down to Mexico City. I spoke at Universidad de la Libertad, which is an effort by Ricardo Salinas, the Mexican billionaire, very prominent businessman there, who's a Bitcoiner. He wanted to create an educational system that was based more on the libertarian and Austrian economic school of thought. So it was really nice to go down there, speak to students and international business leaders. And I had the chance to sit down with him, and we started at the beginning. You know, what is his origin story? Where is he from? How did he build his wealth? What does he think about freedom and capitalism and wealth concentration? I asked him about that and about this push, for billionaires like himself to redistribute some of that wealth, and whether Bitcoin can address some of these issues. And so we had a lot to talk about. I'm looking forward to sharing that interview.
Amazing. Coming out tomorrow, YouTube. Is it available anywhere else?
Yeah, it's available on YouTube if you want to watch the video, but it's also going to be on audio on all podcast streaming platforms.
Go check out Coin Stories podcast. Natalie Brunell, one of the most respected and listened to Bitcoin minds in the industry. We always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Natalie. I appreciate the fact that the next time my barber asks me about crypto and Bitcoin, all I have to do is point him toward that clip. So it's going to make life a lot easier for me, which is always a good thing. You want to make things easy in life, and that's let smarter people do the talking when it comes to a topic that maybe I'm not as informed about. The market, look, it's giving us all kinds of opportunities. Like I just saw the market pull back and Intel's at the highs. So whatever is going on with Intel, I think we'll just accept that it's relatively strong for the time being and continue to work with that. It did have a little bit of a wick. As the market turned, I'm like, okay, it's at 95s here in front of 37, but the market just put in a top. So take some profit out. It's still in an upward trend. You got to be happy with it. It's weird to say, like, this is going, you ring the register, it's trending to the upside, but when I see the NASDAQ do this, like everything about it, it's like, oh, I mean, come on, it's got to come down at some point. So when you're long and it's trending up, at least take some profit because the NASDAQ flat out pulled back. So yes, it is still off of those highs, but this NASDAQ is definitely coming in. For whatever reason, this just does not want to go. This Pally stock as well, it made another push to the upside, gave another one of these 15, 20% moves off the bottom. It's approaching the high of the day. So I'm holding this for a run into the high. If it breaks $2, we'll see what happens. It's only been a 150 long with this stock. We're still looking for that too. Didn't quite get there last time, but it's on its run. It's about 30 cents in the money right now. We're holding for that top here on Pally.
I mean, meanwhile, guys, Apple, we just gave it to you. It's $1 right there. Look at this move to the downside. There goes Apple, man. I mean, I've been getting it out as it crashes back in, but like, we're going to talk about this today. Apple short again, multiple dollars, multiple times. I mean, if you're here for trading, then you have to be here for this. We also have a Dollar Club member right now in Coinbase. Wow, there it is for Coinbase. Big move to the downside. More than $1 now in the money as we just took a piece out for that one as it just continues to go. I don't know, man. We're going to review a couple trades here in the after show. Join me at 4 o'clock today. We'll have Chris Brecher from Simpler Trading, who talked all about some of his strategies last time. We'll ask him about them again. But look at this, man. Coinbase, like, it didn't even come close to 80 bucks. Like, so that was, I mean, right there, but I don't know what happened. That was that, I guess that's the news right there at 11. So we had that as our out. So that was pretty good. So now the fact that it's tanking like this is pretty good. We did want more shares up there near 90s, and our out would have been a little bit more than 80. So, we're going to have to work on that. But again, starter position, not starter, about half down in. So that's $1 right there for Coinbase. So that continues to work out. And then Apple only took one fill at 182. It might retrace now. It might retrace. I mean, the NASDAQ made that move down. And it's a good thing that we switched over, right? Because there's $1 on that. We did talk about Tesla as well. And Tesla, if you had that, when we were looking at it, it was about 252. So it did break higher and then now back in. So even though Tesla is a little aggressive today, it's still not down as much as Apple and then Microsoft as well. I lost on Intel. We can go back to it, but Microsoft as well. Nice move down, but still not even $1. Even this is a $300 name. So I think this is going to be relatively strong, but I do not want to go long anything right now. So we'll continue to watch out for that. Square just continues, man, to ring that register as it's getting back into the day's low despite its very opening print right there. So maybe 57.70. Like, I don't even know what to do on this trade review. And then there's what you know, we lost on this, but it's a good damn thing that we got out. But right now it is trying to get back down in here. 37, I mean, you short this, you don't have that much risk. I mean, for Intel, like, so this could be possibly a good short in there as well. But look, I've already sort of given the trades. We've talked about AMC, we've talked about Apple, Coinbase was in there as well. And then there's, AMD up back. Oh man, back to 110 again? Come on, dog. You need to be short that. I need to be short right there. That's stupid that I'm not. But anyways, AMD, again, this is what trading is all about. It's easy to look at something and say, wow, this is what's going on. But until you have a mark on there to show that you're actually short, I should have been short right there. That sucks. So, all right, nice little pullback there. As there we go again, man. Apple breaking lower one more time. So all is good, man. We may just, I don't want to say we'll sit on our hands if there's ever a pop in this market, good. But I don't think that we'll go too much short anymore other than the names that were already there, because some of these names are just getting crushed, like near lows. I do like that. Are you short?
What's
Intel?
crazy? No, I'm long Intel into the high.
Yeah.
I did take most of it out there, as I mentioned. Like when the NASDAQ had already pulled back like 40 points, and Intel was essentially giving you 95 in front of the 37 level. Like this is a 15-minute chart. I go to the 3-minute and show you guys a little bit better. Like the market was already pulling back when it was here. It's like, okay, just take it. If it's not going to get through that 37 level, I liked it for the trend to the upside. If it can't hold on, we'll get out underneath break even. Apologies for not showing the daily chart on Pally. I know a lot of times we'll show you what's actually happening and then not zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. The reason I keep saying $2 is just because of this on Pally. So you can see, like, it huadung from 2 to 50 cents. It's going right back to 2. I think that's an obvious breakout spot. The high of the day is also 193. So if it gets above that, I just continue to trail it higher into this level, 240, 250 on PALI. It is absolutely churning to the upside at this point. Interestingly enough, AMC was probably just a short when I was looking at Intel. And I'll show you why. Like it pulled right back up, tried to get anywhere close to $9 at $8.90, and it just rolled over again. I think maybe we should just be shorting pops in AMC. I've only taken 2 trades. We're just holding on to them. It was a flat bottom break on the 12 level. You had to pull up the 15-minute chart, or even just look here. It was a flat bottom break after it already huadung to the downside. And then the 1070 level was simply this post-split bottom at 1070. Like those were 2 pretty obvious levels to take shorts, but there's been other ones out here, and we're just holding on to it for the gusto and see what happens. Pally is the only small capper I can see going. If you guys see something else that's strong, I think that's where the real upside for any long is going to be today, if you can find one of these low float runners. I say that a lot, but when the market's trending to the downside, if you're looking for longs, try to find them in names that are not going to care that the market is falling. It's just been these small cap, low flow crappers for whatever reason. That's it. So when they go, you got to take advantage of it. Always going to have to move the trail up because it can't trail it out here to the local bottom because it'll halt if it gets all the way down there in one candle. So I've now moved my trail up into the 165 range, still looking for that high of the day. NBSC is kind of giving it up there, Nimit. That's why I'm looking at Pally. Oh, and another note, if you're looking at some of the chip names, NVIDIA just rejected VWAP. This market ain't going anywhere if NVIDIA can't get above VWAP, especially some of those chip names. And C3AI, we haven't really talked about this too much. I meant to bring this up, and of course we're listening to Natalie, but C3AI just made a pretty big spike while we were doing that interview into 32. It's right back in here to 31.50, but I don't wonder if somebody's getting ahead of themselves here as they're going to report. I don't know what time after the bell. I'm assuming it's. I don't think
it's today.
C3?
Was it? It's it is aftermarket.
It's aftermarket.
Yeah, it says 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
That's his conference call at 5 o'clock.
Okay. Well, there was a big volume spike while we were doing that popped the stock like 70 cents for what it's worth. I don't necessarily want to just go long now that it's bouncing off VWAP because I still think the market's weak, but probably worth paying attention to C3AI going into the close just in case it goes squeezing and somebody's getting out in front of this move, which is going to be a move on C3AI. Like, I'm not really anticipating that this could be a less than 5% kind of move. Should check the implied volatility. I'm going to assume it's somewhere like 7 or 8% on C3AI. Seems almost obvious that it has to be.
All right, let me see exactly. 11% on AI Path, or UiPath. Actually, C3 AI, where is it? Right there. 13%. Oops.
Yeah, I mean.
Expect to move 14%. So yeah, the last time it was 13%. Right there. So we'll check this out.
So that means it'll be flat, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm joking,
GameStop,
obviously.
17%. Join me.
Really?
At 4 o'clock.
In my head, GameStop is dead. So like the fact that that's implied
You
volatility.
got a reverse split first, my friend. Man,
You're probably right about that.
Yeah,
to be
probably
honest
not
with you.
wrong, but I don't
You're
know.
really probably not wrong about that. Sorry, I missed that one. What was that?
Oh, he's just saying the meme. Yeah, he's saying
Meme culture's alive.
No, it keeps it alive, but meme culture ain't helping AMC. So meme that.
It's the wrong day to say that, I would say.
Yeah. I think Fabian must own some of these stocks because he's always all about these memes. He's all about Reddit and Wall Street bets and all this stuff.
$1 says Fabian doesn't own a single meme stock.
Oh, he does. Well, we could bet $1. I don't know. We have 35 cents.
For whatever
there.
reason, I have 35 cents on the table.
All right,
So that
Fabian, what
works.
stocks do you own? Off the top of his head.
Virgin
Space?
Galactic, you win. There's the
Thank
35
you.
cents. The first thing, he's in our ear. You guys can't hear. We need to get these guys a microphone so you guys
I
can
need
engage
that
them.
was easy button.
No, he said Virgin Galactic is the first stock out of his
He's
mouth.
just like,
and we
let me
asked
see
him-
what I own. Yeah, he's down 90% on it. Join the club, my guy. Right there. So that's funny though. At least you can admit that, man. It's like
No,
like
it's
me with the
fair.
weed
Yeah,
stocks.
like-
Oh God, and he owns a ton of weed stocks.
No, I still
So there
have
you
I
go.
still have
So-
some Virgin Galactic shares from 2020.
Oh.
He made money on AMC.
See, so not you don't show me like $5. The guy owns these stocks and has traded them in the past. So
Okay.
But anyways,
Got
that's
that corrected.
no, but that's why
That's fine.
I'm trying to be very careful about what we say about some of these stocks because although we're on a prop floor, it's very, very easy to us to destroy these stocks over and over again. And it's just like this has just been pathetic today for AMC, down another 37%.
Oh, this is a good point for Stunkel.
Like, oh man, who was talking about
You
that?
know, Stunkel just said, don't forget the GameStop movie coming out. That could be a catalyst.
Well, I'm going
wake
to that
people
on
up.
Friday.
Yeah, like that. The timing of it, if you're going to you look for the most ridiculous reasons for something to squeeze or get a move. That's probably good enough.
Isn't that
Like, it
Pete
could-
Davidson? I'm going to that.
It is Pete Davidson. It is
Yeah,
Pete Davidson.
It is, yeah, GME movie.
It's funny, man. Just a quick update. I trailed out of Pally. I told you the second
money.
it pulled back, it was at 185, so I moved the trail. I did not want this whole thing down on me. The same thing happened earlier at more or less the same price. But if you're long at the 50 level, it's okay to take a 70 out. It's 312. We are running out of time in this move. In the end of the day
That's
here.
Seth Rogen.
Intel just bounced off of my entry level. I'm not reloading this in the long side because I think the market's rolling over, but I'll hold it as long as it wants to hold this consolidation. I'll give it a chance to run the stops, run to the high of the day here. Intel's still up, and despite the fact that the market looks like it wants to roll over again, this stock is staying strong.
Yeah, I didn't realize it has Seth Rogen in it as well. So that should be pretty cool. He's Gabe
Nice.
Plotkin there. So, yeah, it should be good. Shailene Woodley, Pete Davidson. There he is. Yo. That's not him.
Why
Oh,
do
no.
I know Shailene
There
Woodley?
he is.
I recognize-
Shailene Woodley's the
I
one.
recognize that name.
Aaron Rodgers was with her and stuff like that. I'm hoping we're going to be on the red carpet, so hopefully they'll be able to. That's not her. That's what's her name? Margot Robbie. I thought it was. Okay. Anyways, as we get some ads there, we are not sponsored by IMDb. So, anyways, yeah. Well, hopefully Hopefully Seth Rogen will be there. I love Seth Rogen.
Oh, I just watched something with To Catch a Killer. She plays a cop in
Yeah,
this. It's really good. It has the guy that plays Krennic in Rogue One. It was really, I don't know, it's like one of those like cop thriller type things. Anyways,
Yeah,
she's from something else too, but that's what I just saw Shailene Woodley in. That looks really interesting, man. There's another one at TIFF, and it's about a hedge fund guy. It's got the dude that played Han Solo in Solo. I forget the guy's name. I'm not really good with some of the newer actors. But to get back to the market for a little bit here, because the market is moving still, I should have taken a little bit of profit on UAL because it's now starting to barcode. If it's not moving, I got the reload. I've tightened up my stop. It's going sideways, so while the short has been good all afternoon, if it breaks out from this local high, I think I just get out of it and then sort of move on to the next. We keep talking about GME and not even pull up the stock. At the same time, C3, I went look at GameStop just reject 1890. This is actually falling into the close. There might even be a trade here. If this makes another breakdown, AMC's on the low right now. If this consolidation breaks to the downside, why wouldn't AMC, which is down GameStop, which is down 3%, join the party. If it just falls off of VWAP here, you got another 30, 40 cents to the low of the day. Didn't even realize it was such a good entry. At the same time the market was making the highs, you could have shorted GameStop off the highs too.
Yeah. Oh man, so many good trades there. So many.
We got to pay for shorts actually.
So many good. Oh, we do. It's funny we don't have to pay for shorts on Apple. I guess it's because
AMC, you mean?
Yeah, AMC. So yeah, Apple. If we had to pay for shorts on Apple, then.
Can you imagine?
But yeah, AMC. AM scam, people are saying. That's pretty funny. Okay, let's look at another runner now, and which could possibly be another scam. Carvana right now, as used car prices continue to go lower right now, but Carvana continues to go higher. And again, Carvana is a little bit of a different story. Why? Because it was $400 before, so that's nice. But it was down here to $2 as well. Now you're up to 50 again. Wow. Stocks don't move like this, but apparently they do. Nice base. You know, that's $36 base right now, looking very, very mighty fine. But unfortunately, it is not there now. So you got to watch out for a 53 break maybe on this name. I don't know, just looking at the day, we're at the day's high. Nah, not really, but we did break the afternoon and sort of the lunchtime high there of 50 bucks, 50.25 right there. Now you're only up to 50. If this gets up here, it's a short. I don't think that we're going to get to that. And again, you got to. What I try to take in consideration is time of day trading. So it's like, oh yeah, by the way, when we were gone there with Natalie, I believe anyways, there's the fill on Coinbase. I don't know if we talked about that, but it just bounced off VWAP. We only have 20% left, hoping, and again, like that's where you say hindsight, right? It's like we could have got out there at 78.30, but then if it breaks it, then where are you going? So, you know, you're not, like I said, we're not always gonna have absolutely the best. Don't even put that in the chat. Man, John Womack, Ambient Viz, look at Roku. All right, I'll look at Roku. Okay, $84, thank God. All right, whew. I thought it was even taking even more. Like, how mad was I? Well, I wasn't mad, but we got out there and then it tanked $1 as soon as we got out, thinking that a break of 85 was something, but there it is. Looks like 83.70 as a base. And I kind of want to talk about this at 4 o'clock because we switched into the long and then switched over to the short against a nice little support area, or resistance area right there that we noticed of 91.50 or so. So anyways, pay dirt at the end there with that one. But yeah, other than that, man, not much really happening right now for me. We said we'd take some out of Apple, and that's exactly what we did. We actually got a 181.95 or something filled down there. The lowest we went was 86. I actually have an offer at, a bid at 77 for some strange reason. And again, when you're looking at Apple, it hasn't been here in a minute, so you can go back to yesterday. Obviously, it wasn't there. You go back on the 15-minute chart. We haven't been here in a while. Oh, actually, I guess we were here. Well, when was that? Oh, that's not too long ago, actually. What am I talking about? Back on the 30th. So about a week ago we were here. And then look at this. So no surprise right there. Sometimes we say, when in doubt, zoom out. I don't know exactly who came up with that. I don't know if it was you or who it was.
No,
but
somebody else.
Right there, 181.80 basically. So that was the high back on the 24th. So let's give it 2 weeks. And then we dropped off that into 176. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these levels, you know, I guess sub 180, maybe even tomorrow. I mean, Apple could drop $2.
Look at the, you know what, while we're on this topic.
Apple dropped $7 today.
If you look at the weekly chart on Apple, I always say, like, if you're looking for like trends, like look at the weekly.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like 170, this is like 174. That's like the lowest close on the weekly there. Like if you're not getting to that, and then if you on the weekly, the 50 period's down at
it's
at 161. Like those are very reasonable prices because that's just a normal sort of dip. Like it's not really breaking its overall trend. It can hold prices like that and still be pretty solid. I love this feature where I can just double click and it pops right back in. Thank you, Michael Knotts, for showing me that one. So I'm not dragging that every time I want to show you the full screen. Oracle is super strong. So we're talking about Intel being strong. It's still holding near the high of the day. Oracle's at the high of the day. Up. I think maybe we should look for some Oracle longs at some point tomorrow because this is another stock which is breaking out. If the market's weak and the stock is strong, that's relative strength. Go figure. Ever since it broke 122, it seems like it's trending into some recent highs. The June high, there's a wick up to 130, but really like 127, 128 is that resistance. There's a couple of dollars till it gets there. So this one is in that bucket of strength as far as I'm concerned. Super strong name out there. Oh yeah, Steve G, you're right. It's not the old guard. I'm talking about Intel and Oracle being strong. It is legacy names.
Right.
I guess we're not supposed. Is it bad to say old guard? I don't know.
What? No.
I think that's what I'm used to calling them, like stocks like that, the old guard. But yeah, legacy names, relatively strong today. So Oracle's one of them. I haven't really checked out what like IBM's doing, but you saw Dell.
Yep.
Dell was super
was
strong.
huge.
HPE was super strong. I'm assuming IBM's had a good week as well, but I haven't checked on them. The only reason I'm not short GameStop, despite talking about it, is because we have to pay for locates.
It's also not moving.
Yeah, like it could break down, but if it breaks this, I won't. Like, you got to pay for shorts, and there's only 40 minutes left. So if you're in it, great. If it was up here, I think it would have made sense, but I didn't see it till too late. C3AI might be something here because it's actually starting to bounce again. So if this wants to give any kind of a consolidation, then run back into the high, if they report tonight, maybe someone's covering a short or doing whatever. But if the market wants to make a run here, I like this for a decent risk to reward. If you can get it somewhere even remotely close to 31.50 and then stop it out under that, it's got a high of 32.10 recently. So looking for a little bit of C3AI action. At least that made a decent move. And if the market wants to hold higher, going higher, C3AI, I'm reporting after the bell today, trying to get it off that 50 level.
Oh my
I want
God.
60s if I can get it.
Apple, it's just like, I sit here and I just wonder, like, why not just like every single pop, just short it. Like, there's somebody in here just battling this stock over and over again. Join me, of course, at 4 o'clock. We'll have Chris Brecher, who is amazing. He has tons of followers on StockTwits, not much here on Twitter, but and we'll talk about AI, GME, and Path, and we'll do all that stuff. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about sectors and where they're going and whatnot. So thank you for all of that. And then as I was kind of just watching, so we were bidding 77s there. The lowest it went to, of course, was 80. So let's just flip it over to 80. I mean, although I still think it's going lower right now. I actually, like, when I said that Apple today was down $7, I actually was like, is it really? Like, I mean, I can't, it seems hard to believe, but, yesterday we were at 190 and we're at 182. And we're at 189 in the pre-market, so it's $7 clean in today's trade, and it's $8 from the top yesterday. Hard to catch the whole move, but I am glad that we caught a little bit right here. I feel like I got to do better. We should have been short all the way down, but again, we put on a trade for you, and then it blew up a little bit there, so to the downside, that's good. Oh, the Jays play in 15 minutes. That's nice. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's one.
Yeah, they played last night. My daughter came home and was like, when are the Jays on? And I was like, it's 9:40, and you're going to bed. So she was a little bit mad about that. But today, the High Park Jets take their second-ranked team into playoffs. So today we have our first playoff game. So I'm going to hit the after show, and then I got to hustle over to High Park, and we'll see if we can deal with the Leafs. So they are the minor league team for the Expos in High Park Little League. So
nice.
Yeah, that should be fun. And
I hear Leafs, and I think of the inter-county team too.
yes,
as well.
yeah. There's the Christie Pitts, I think.
They play Christie Pitts.
All right. Or you know what's? Ooh, you know what's strong?
Shout out Nicole. Thank you very much, Nicole Harris, for the super chat. News came out. Marvelous 7 not feeling inflation. They aren't paying debt by companies that invest. They invest in Foxconn, Dell, Intel, AVGO,
by companies
Compal.
they invest in.
Right. Like, so we're talking about who the big 7 invest in. Oddly enough, everyone seems to want to invest in ARM when it comes out. I mean, it still feels like the valuation that they slapped on ARM still feels like it's a little pricey to this market, but there's a lot of big names that are going to be buying it.
It'll get bought up.
You know what we're going to do on day one? I personally, if I was investing this in my long-term account, I wouldn't be buying it on the first day. But for the open trade, I promise you we will have the opening long on ARM whenever it happens. We actually don't know the date that it's going to be.
I thought it was the 13th.
Is it the 13th officially now? Okay, so
well,
if it's the 13th, on the 13th, we'll be sitting with a market on open buy for ARM. That doesn't mean I want to own it from that price in the long term, but it's certainly going to be a buy at like 11 o'clock or 1:30, whenever the heck that thing opens up. Worth mentioning, look.
They got to figure that stuff out. Like, it can't just open up like
that. It's disgusting.
I know. And it's a NASDAQ name, isn't it, I think?
We've been trading for 20 years, and I remember when an IPO opening at 11 o'clock was late. Like it would open at 11, you're like, oh man, we had to wait around forever for that thing. And now a big IPO opens up afternoon. Like you've eaten your lunch, it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then finally they get around to opening up. What's the point if you can't trade it all day long? But anyways, that's just a rant. I have a trailing stop on AMC. I'm just going to bid in front of $8. We haven't entered a new trade since the breakdown, and it's just trending. So my trail, which was at 9, is going into 875 here on AMC. I did get that C3AI, looking to risk about 15 pennies. I said, let's wait for VWAP, have it try to bounce off there. If it can hold 31.5, great. I'm looking for a late day run. So it's kind of gimmicky. It popped once off of this level going into the earnings, but I don't want to give it more than this 31.50. It's 30 minutes left in the day. The market has been trending down all day long, so just looking for a cheeky little red to green trade that it can run going into earnings, going into the end here on C3AI. So my stop's underneath 31.50. I'm long at 62s. I'll get an offer out if it gets to like 80s, and then look to see if it can't get all the way to 32 even on C3AI. So aftermarket report here. Let's see what can happen. Got to have a trail on AMC just because at this point it's going to bounce somewhere. Whatever. Maybe it bounced off $8. Intel still struggling with that high of the day. It just tried 36.95 again. I think it's time to exit. So it just broke back down. I'm not going to wait for it. I'm actually just going to get out of it right now. Wow, just really? Okay, that didn't take very long. So yeah, just out of Intel. It looked like it was trying to break that 36.70. I'm now out. It does not want, sorry, 37 even. Another double top here, unfortunately. Strong stock, but when you buy at the high of the day, you do want to make sure you take some profit. UAL, I said I would tighten up that script and get out at 48.6. So decent short when it rolled over, but it stopped moving. So we got one reload to bring our average price to break even here. Just get out of things that are not going to move toward that end of the day. Microsoft moving. Steve G, what I consider AG for my long term. I mean, not really. I own enough. I don't know a lot. I don't own enough things. I have some physical silver, believe it or not. But yeah, I'm not a huge, I'm just not a huge metals person. I understand the argument for it. Like they're never gonna stop printing money. I do own some physical silver, and I own some Bitcoin. I haven't really gotten any gold miners. That's not really my cup of tea in my personal account. So I understand the value proposition that gets said, but yeah, not really for me, Steve G. Copper will go insane going into Christmas, or Alpha says. My bet. Hey, we'll track that one. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a huge metals person, so
track that.
It's worth looking at. But again, I own a little bit of physical silver. That's about it.
Copper will go insane. You mean Amari Copper? Amari Cooper.
I got offered Amari Cooper for Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
I turned it down because I don't really need the wide receiver, so I'm just gonna.
Better off waiting for him. That's why I was liking.
Wait for the home run play.
Okay, guys. So by the way, you want a couple of home run plays? I mean, swing. Look at Apple again. Tank City. Oh, and by the way, new position alert. We in it, baby. We in Intel now, baby. Off that 37. Look at Apple. Jeez, man. Apple just joining one more time. The dollar club. This is getting to be uncomfortable here about how much this is going down, but I'm comfortable in it. So there it goes, man. Nice flush down on Apple. And again, on Intel, we're just taking the baby fill there. We're short right here at VWAP at 88 or 87s, so we got an 82 fill there, or whatever it was, 83 fill just right now. So if it does break lower, looking to get these all out if we can at 70 for a big trade, actually, considering what Intel's doing, really nothing. But wow, man, now we are really starting to shit the bed here on Apple. So let's just put, holy, right now. Yikes, nah. This is, whoopsies. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Right there. I wanted the.
I missed it. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it was the Travolta one. I wanted the other. Okay, this one.
By the way, double top on Meta right now.
I wanted this one because
I
it's
hate that one.
I'm so confused there because it's going down so much that my watch is flipping.
That's why I don't like it.
That's the best one.
That's why I don't like it. Mine's even worse. I'm not gonna hit it. You can see I literally changed shirts in mine. It doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, okay, yeah, that's funny though. Anyways, it's funny because Intel right now is absolutely doing nothing, and we know about that. So, but look what Apple's doing, man. Now $1.22, and honestly, those kind of slaps aren't enough. I mean, it's just continuing to go to the downside. Square as well, puking, and we talked about where we want to get out of this one. I mean, we could just do it right now. It's 330. This is a decent level for Square. We it just came right back in again. This could be another name that we review at 4 o'clock, but yeah, we can just do it right now. Again, going short early definitely took all of our breakfast money, not lunch money. Took it all early and then back in finally for this big move down. I mean,
well, that's not true. You don't eat breakfast until lunch.
Right. I don't really eat anything at breakfast. Sometimes we do the fruit salad if the fruit salad is around here, and people have been taking it lately.
There was none left when I looked today. I got some yesterday. I didn't get any today.
Okay. Yeah,
but I want to correct one thing because Brendan just put this in the chat. Just so we always try to get everything right. So ARM is pricing on the 13th and trading the next day.
14th. Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like it'll be the 14th. I didn't know it all. So good look. The 14th, last I checked, is just over a week from now. So on Thursday, we're looking to trade ARM. They'll price it on 13th. I think they're saying 49 to 52. Something in that range is what they're looking for.
So 90.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like where it opens up. I was gonna say 60 or 70, but I think if it priced at 50, I'm thinking it opens at like $60 or something like that.
I'm going long no matter what it opens up.
I mean, if it opens up over $100, I would be ridiculous. That's insane. That would give it $100 billion valuation at the open. I'm saying no. It's almost crazy, but crazy things have happened before. I remember thinking what was it? It was Coinbase. No, it was Snowflake.
And Coinbase.
Both
all
of them.
of
Snowflake was extreme. I don't think we all put market on open buys, and then where Snowflake opened up was completely insane.
Rivian
and it still worked. Like it still went up from there. So here's the double top on Meta. Just working into this. 299 is at double top, so I'll take some halves here and look to hold us underneath VWAP. As I said, we're trailing out of AMC. Not much else to do with that one. And then what else we got here? Another super chat there. Nicole Harris, 5 again. Botting some puts on Apple.
She's got 5 on it.
Loonies. Loonies is a group, not a dollar.
Nobody watching knows about a loonie unless
Yeah, they know about
from.
They know about the loonies.
Put a toonie on it. How about that? I don't know, man. You want to buy puts now in Apple? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We just covered a little bit down there in the 50s. I mean, it's not getting any better, right? I mean, this rhetoric coming from China is just not going to get any better.
I doubt it.
I think Secretary of State was just there. I just don't know what to expect from all of that. And again, you're probably right, Nicole. I mean, if the market's going to fail and you don't have too much faith in what the NASDAQ has right now, we talked about that yesterday, what's under the hood, what are people actually looking at here on the NASDAQ and so on and so forth. And honestly, man, I mean, a little bit of a break here on Apple. We're just now hitting the 50 period on the daily. This could easily retrace back into 175. So I don't think you're wrong by thinking that. That crystal ball would be wicked to have. It looks like Apple, Intel does not want to break 80s here. What? Let's just hope that someone stops buying this name. I mean, let's just hope that, and then we'll be able to fall down. So I do have a bid at 80.
Well, I'd watch out for that. We got to watch out for these shorts because the early look on the imbalances just came out. And it's a whopping 62 million shares to buy.
Yeah, I knew you were going to be 62 million notional.
Notional. That's ridiculously tiny. I just put in the chat, WTF HKIT.
Yeah.
I was completely convinced that the weakest stock today was AMC. Like it's not. It's actually HKIT. So we say this is a cautionary tale over and over again, and it's not to beat a dead horse, but what
goes even up, injure a horse
or ever.
Yeah. What
goes up must come down. If you ride these things to the upside, you're never going to get the perfect exit point. But you know what? Every exit point that is profitable is a good one. And holding on to something like this when it never makes sense in the first place is just going to get you into trouble. It's all the way back to $5. I didn't even notice that was happening today. And I hope there's nobody that's caught in something like this because it's frustrating to see because I know a lot of people can make money doing this. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with riding one of these waves and making a little bit of money. Just don't get caught holding the bag. Everyone's done some bag holding. But if you buy some of these highs on these stocks, but it's different here. Because if you could literally have bought this last move to 25, it goes to 35, like it's at $5. Like you're out 80% if you just bought the most recent dip here. In 4 days, you could be out 80% if you bag hold this. Have an out when you make these trades. Because if you could break even stop and you're probably fine. This is insane to the downside. Wow. HKIT for the lose. today. I don't think there's necessarily a trade here unless it wants to halt back to the upside. It's actually down so far now that I wouldn't even look short. 82%. This was at $33 at one point today.
Shit. Right now, what's up, Michael Wellner? I did. God did. We caught Roku long this morning and short, and it was quite a good trading day for Roku today. Oh, now at least I feel better because it's coming back to 85 where we covered. This was the story of the long this morning. We got a piece out when it took out VWAP, but it definitely ripped up to the upside. We took out the pre-market high, or it wasn't even really the pre-market high. It was just kind of some of these levels. I was going to wait for 95. I'm glad I didn't. We took 93.50. It was really wild off the open, though. Like some of the spreads and just how it was ticking up and ticking down. It was insane. So I was really glad to, I can't believe we have that high tick today, almost $96 there. On Roku, we actually got 95.55 there. And then we flipped over into the short. Once we broke 90, we flipped over to the short and then just covered it right there. So that was a good one there. A great one actually for Roku. So hopefully we can have more trades like this as we go. So that's what we're trying to do here. Like I said, man, every single day it's the same thing. We'll come here live with you every single day. We have watches.tradertv.live. We all have Twitter and everything like that, or X or whatever you want to call it. CGC now moving. Come on, Intel.
Sucks. I had two losers this morning. One of them was short Square, which ended up working out. And then I took the breakout trade in CGC. We had it. It was about 77.5 average price. I gave it to underneath 75. I suppose if I gave it 10 cents, yeah, you're not giving it 10 cents on a 78 stock. At least I'm not anyways. But wow, it's right back up to 80. So buy the dip was right. Instead I pivoted to like the breakout trade on CGC, but it's up 15%. It's still going. This is a good look on the daily, and I got away from it. That was a mistake on my part. Should not have gotten away from this. It still looks absolutely fantastic on the daily chart. It's squeezing to the upside, and it feels like it wants the dollar. So tomorrow, maybe I find a better way to get into this. Patiently wait for the dip buy. I kind of got cheeky with it, ended up losing 3 cents on the trade, only to see it run back to the high of the day. At the end of the day, that was a mistake for me on CGC. So I'll slap to fail. I should have stuck with that long. By the way, it's only CGC. Tilray is doing absolutely nothing. Tilray's down 3%. CGC is up 15%, as I just showed you. Go figure.
Yeah, we should show Tilray through that $3 mark, actually.
I don't understand why only CGC's up.
Square is crashing. We covered Square. Crashing seems to be a little bit. What's up, Boris? What's up, Boris? I haven't seen you before. What's up, Boris, my guy? Right there, Square is crashing. Yeah, Square's not crashing that much. Does SSR continue into after hours? No. No, it does not.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoops.
Even
That's
more, Jay Lee.
Keystroke.
Right there. Shout out to Jay Lee. What else you guys want to talk about? Right here.
It doesn't, but then it works for the next day too. So it's SSR lasts for 2 days, but it's only active during 9:30 to 4 o'clock. The uptick rule.
Yeah, it's going to be disaster there right now. Okay, Marlins placing Alcantara on IL, but I guess it doesn't matter. Their season is done, right, the Marlins?
Well, the guy in our
fantasy, I guess.
Zane in our fantasy league he's in the semifinals in our league, and he has Alcantara. We have AL and NL team, so that's like literally his number 2 starter. So that sucks to be his.
Yeah, that
Sorry,
sucks
buddy.
for Zaner right there. Okay, so we'll watch out for that.
SMCI.
He also traded away number 1 too, so he traded away Bijan Robinson. So I don't know what this guy's doing, to be honest with you.
Let's go, Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's going to be a monster. Well, obviously,
bold prediction.
Everybody that goes number 1 overall.
I'm making a bold prediction. I think Bijan Robinson is the number 1 running back in fantasy this year.
Yeah, that is a bold prediction.
I don't think it's that bold. I think he's that.
Well, as opposed to what people, I guess some people have. He's the number 1 dynasty guy.
He is. I think CMC is going to get hurt. I think Austin Eckler is not going to get the workload that he got before. I think Nick Chubb's not going to be on the field as much as everybody thinks he is.
I think they could run Barkley a lot.
Jacob's not. Barkley's probably a threat too, but
I think they could just give him the rock because they're kind of pissed off about that whole contract thing. I think they're going to run a lot of these guys.
They probably will. But I think the Giants aren't as good as they were last year.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Daniel Jones might have overproduced last year as well.
My theory is this. If Tyler Algier, who none of you guys have heard of, had 5 yards to carry and 1,000 yards with a garbage Atlanta team, then Bijan Robinson, who is twice as talented, should have a historic season. So I think he's having a historic year. So thank you, Zane, for trading to me in Dynasty.
What an idiot. No, we love Zane.
He's a great, he's our commissioner, and he hosted our draft.
The guy's great.
As we were chilling out in his pool.
We just got out of
What an
AMC
idiot.
there.
Yeah,
as
it just trailed
took
me
the
out
50
too.
period. So again, AMC, man, the doomsday device, and we're not talking about Legion of Doom, but this is just boom,
That was kind of
boom, boom. Like the hammer just gets dropped on this name. We go over to the screen here for a second. Like we just covered it. This is the first time that it breached the 50 period all day. So yeah, we should have still been short the whole thing the whole way. It didn't break it at all. You know what? Let me track this theory with Apple here. What about Apple? So Apple right now, good. We just covered some more down there at 55. The 50 period would have been breached on this one. Yeah. So again, not breached again until we're in here. So, you know, covering early, I'm fine with it. You know, we did hold 20% for $4, so that was good. But again, probably should have started to really look to cover once we violated the 50 period, which is the pink line right there. And then obviously as it comes back down, that's going to be part of, I need a better name than the trading manifesto, but I think if we get one going, I think we should do something like that. Just following rules.
Just like rule books. You know
Rule
what?
book. What is a manifesto? I'm going to Google what
No,
exactly
I know. I
that
mean,
is.
it is. A manifesto isn't
Kinda
the
like
wrong.
the rules to
It's not the
follow
wrong
by?
word. It's just that manifesto has a different connotation. Sometimes manual is a probably better idea. Like you
No,
need
I
a
hate,
trading
it's
manual.
not a manual. Like, what are we, electrician? Like, what am I installing, like a dryer here?
But like little things. Like I don't like chasing a halt trade after 2 or 3.
Right,
after,
exactly.
After 3 halts, I never want
That
to go
kind of
long.
stuff,
Like
yeah.
that, I think it's a solid rule. Like
Basic rules. I don't know, like the art
not-
of war, like rules of
don't
war.
reload for the same size the third time at a resistance level. I like that rule as well. Third time is not a charm to load up the same as you would the first or second time at a
Something.
level. Things like that. It can be a trading guide. Fabian's saying stuff in our. We really need to get you guys a mic. Because Fabian's just continuously saying ideas here. Guide's not bad. I think you're going for something
Maybe
a little
it's telling
more
us to
unique.
buy like weed names and buy like Virgin Galactic.
Everybody wants to know this guy's portfolio. It's like weed names, Virgin Galactic. Maybe you've got a little bit of Zila in there. I don't know. You let us know.
I mean,
is Zila even in the market still? No, it's not.
He probably has Dogecoin. Let me just ask him.
Kodak.
Shut up.
You don't know.
Okay, so he doesn't
You
have
don't-
he
you don't
doesn't
own
have
Kodak,
Kodak.
dude.
I think that's gone. So you can't. Well, you might as well light those on fire as well. Let me ask you, Dogecoin or Shiba Inu?
I play with them.
So you do have so. Okay, so he has traded them
okay.
before. Okay.
The imbalance is 62 million to buy, Daniel, in the chat. We did mention it. It's now 83 million to buy. It's a very, very small buy and bounce. Kodak, actually, I thought it was much worse than this. Just gonna throw that one out.
What? I thought it was gone.
Yeah.
No, I think something happened with
something
it. I gotta
happened
find out.
here because I feel like it's maybe
Reverse
there's something.
split.
There's some kind of a reverse, but there has to be. I thought it was much worse than this.
I mean, in July it was $6 actually.
No, it's what $4. Look, when I expect to pull up the stock and see a penny stock, there it is. Like that must.
Yo,
like, what-
honestly, Fabian is like a genius investor.
No, is he though?
I mean, you know, Kodak, mate.
Is he though? Kodak Black.
I just know, like, if I was young, man, I just would be like, I would just be buying like all of the blue chip stocks, but I guess
Yeah, and just hold on to them.
there is some opportunity. I mean, that's what I was doing in the first place, and that's why I'm not rich and why I'm here. So, yeah, do what you have to do for
do you.
yourself. Just do you. I mean, that's the best advice of all time.
Dollar cost averaging
If you're
is
not, yeah, I mean, if you're not in something that you're comfortable with, then it doesn't really matter. You have to be comfortable in your portfolio, and you know, so that's what that is. Obviously, when you have family and all that kind of stuff, comfort levels change a little bit. But okay, so. We never put on a big trade here at all for Intel. I'm feeling like I want to average in here before we get to the imbalance, just in case the imbalance does flip around the other way and get into a sell. I'm just wondering if the market forces may help push Intel down. But Intel today has been super strong, and I'm fine. I'm going to short this top, 95. Like, I'm not shorting 91s. I'm not going to short anything else. We already shorted 87s randomly there. Well, it wasn't randomly. I just went over to it and shorted it. I guess that means randomly. So we're going to wait for 95, and then that out is going to be 37. And then if that comes through, that comes through. And that'll be fine. So
I got to give an update.
What about Tesla?
Because I did, remember I got out of Pally. I'm going to get it to that in a quick second. NBSE, which Nimit was in the chat. He's still in the chat, I think. I saw him talking about this. And I was looking at the two, and I said, this looks decent off of 250, but I only want to risk 10 cents on it. So I gave up on this with a really, really tight stop NBSE. I was long at like 53, and I got out at like 40. So that's And on one of these, that's a really tight stop because I just thought Pally was better. It's actually bouncing off $2, so that looks pretty good. Pally just gave it up. As that went up, we got a good trail out there on Pally because it's all the way back at 150. So it was another bounce off the 140 level, but shout out to Nimin because NBSE stuck with that one, and it's continuing to run. I cannot believe this. Okay, so we just pulled this stupid thing up, and I was like, man, this stock is so far to the downside. There's no point shorting HKIT. It dropped another $2. Like, it just dropped it's at 380, man. Like, it was just at $6 when we brought this one up. And I'm like, whatever, there's no trade here. Yeah, there was, and it's continuously to the downside. This is ugly. This is ugly. I don't know where the bottom is, but maybe it bounces off $1 tomorrow. That's what I'm getting a little bit excited for, because when a stock like this gets to $1, that's pretty much the dream dollar bounce right there. A stock that was $34 this morning, if it tags $1 tomorrow, the risk to reward is just fantastic. You could risk 10 cents and then think that it could double up, and that would mean nothing to the actual
It's actually
move.
a great opportunity.
It's a great opportunity tomorrow. I don't want to go long today. I'm definitely not going long today, but
maybe just. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you
you
buy
could-
some lottos in there and just buy a couple shares and see what the
you
hell
could
happens.
you could swing this and say, okay, well, if it goes from 4, you know, I'll give it, like, if it opens under $2, fine, but if it bounces from here, like, it wouldn't have to bounce very far to give you like a double up. That's all I'm getting at. If this is at $1 tomorrow, I will at least look for a long on HKIT. I'm going to write that one down on my iPad. 15 minutes to go. The imbalances are still pretty tiny.
There was some lady on our chat that said if HKD was going to go to $2,000, she would eat her own arm or something like that. So, unfortunately, I guess she ate her arm. I haven't seen her in a while.
remember
so
that.
I hope that she's okay.
It hit 2,500.
Yeah. So, was it her arm or her hand or something? That seems a bit ridiculous.
It was a body part.
There was something there. You guys that have been with us for a while know that was in the chat.
That's
there.
why I say crap like
we
eat a
were just
pineapple
like, huh?
pizza or something stupid. You don't want to get stuck.
Yeah, well,
No, because if I say I'll
you
do
can't
something
actually
ridiculous,
eat your own hand.
but that's my whole point. Like, I never want to say I will do this if this happens, and then it's something I
going.
wouldn't do. I will always say something I'm willing to do. Like I said, if CGC gets to $10 by the end of the year, I will sing a verse of Rick James, Mary Jane. Because that's something
That's
I
an
would
easy
actually
one,
do.
yeah.
Now, it's not going to get to $10, but I'm not going to throw something out there and then you guys are like, you're not a man of your word. No, hell no. That's just not how we're going to roll around
Yeah.
here. So if HKIT goes to 50, I have nothing for HKIT. You guys can make something up for me. Wasn't it her shoe? Eating a
was
shoe
it?
is still disgusting.
It was not a shoe.
No, because you
It was
can't
more
you
dramatic.
can't physically eat a shoe anyways. That's just stupid. Doing a shoey, it might have been. Doing a shoey where you chug a beer
No.
out of a shoe, that's possible.
It
People
was
do that.
definitely something ridiculous. But it doesn't matter. Who cares? We're just
doesn't-
talking about it for fun.
It doesn't
so.
matter.
It doesn't
Nimit,
matter. We covered a little bit of Apple there just because it broke through 182. Again,
whoops.
we're out. We
do I have
literally
over
have like 2% left. Like, I'm not even doing anything right now. Just waiting. Oh,
gotta close some stop orders here.
well, we got 95s, and I put a 91 bid or 92 bid, got it. So now we're short 92 half here. As here we go, Intel. Here we go, Intel. Here we go. Let's see if it goes back down to the downside right now for INTC, as we finally got a decent price.
Do your girls have like a cheer that they do?
We have unlimited amounts of cheers, yeah, there's not one specifically for the team, but there's lots of cheers they have.
I got one for this won't work necessarily for kids because I think it's really, really cruel and you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of this, but there is a college team that every single time the opposing pitcher throws a four pitch walk, so it's like 4 balls in a row, they walk the batter, the entire crowd just starts chanting ball 5, ball 5. And if he throws ball 5, ball 6, ball 6. They once got some guy, he got the yips, and he walked 4 guys in a row. They're like ball 12, ball 13. It freaked everybody out. Like it's a great cheer. I love U.S. college sports for how big the fans get into it. That is something we do not have here as much in Canada, and there's just nothing better than watching college football, college basketball in the States. So I think is it Texas A&M? I don't know. You guys tell me what the school is. It is Texas A&M. Oddly enough, that's an interesting one. Watch out the Netflix for Johnny Manziel about Texas A&M. Built that stadium for them. But let's go over to the desk for some fake Brendo.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and 0 commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm a Big Ten kind of guy. Just throwing that one
Yeah,
out there.
we're not allowed to do cheers about the other team.
No, of course, it's
Yeah,
kids. You
so-
shouldn't do that for E.
Yeah. But High Park is like so serious about baseball, it's absolutely ridiculous. But that's
I
good.
remember getting heckled when I played Little League. And some of them were really, really good.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was like 12 years old and I walked in the winning run and it was a 2-1 loss in the playoffs. And like there were parents on the other team that were they were giving it to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I look back on it now and I'm like, it was pretty darn cruel.
Yeah, it's brutal.
What they were saying. But I kind of, like I heard it, but I didn't really hear, like I wasn't really affected by it except for the fact that I walked in that run. But ultimately, they should have rules like that.
Oh, they
because
do.
it can get out of
Yeah,
hand.
they do. Okay.
CGC, what?
Yeah, we don't have too much time left here. So Coinbase is already a Dollar Club member. So we'll see. We're gonna get out of the breaks about 78.50. Let's just put that order in right now. 78.50. We'll get out of all of it. So just in case these imbalances go the other way. Our Intel again, trying to make back what we lost on this short, but I don't even think like we lost like 6 cents there. I don't even think we're going to be able to get that. I would love to get an 81 bid here in case. Oh, here we go. The imbalance is coming out right now. So here we go. Let's see what's happening right now. On the side of the NASDAQ, I just have to get rid of the broker, and then we'll get rid of that. Now they'll all load up here. So what is that magical number? We'll get it from Brendan in a minute. But right now, Palantir looks like it. Whoops. There's Apple with a buy. Uh-oh. All right, so this is probably going to rally that market to the upside right now. As there goes Apple, nicely done to the buy side. Right now, look at that. Boom. Right, we're out.
There's
I mean,
nothing else
I can
there,
just
though.
punch out of this. It doesn't really matter.
Amazon.
Bank of Nova Scotia with the Canadian banks.
Amazon's a buy.
That's a sell. Okay, yeah, so yeah, there's Amazon. They're all starting to fill in a little bit now. Intel must be a buy. I mean, Intel's not moving, but I would assume it's a
Well,
buy.
Meta just popped back up on me.
Meta just popped.
Meta was just like 70 cents in the money. Now it's 20. So everything looks like buy side big tech.
Yeah, Amazon
I don't
buy.
see it here though. Microsoft 400,000.
Okay.
There's nothing that big.
get out of
TRP. I mean, Apple's the big one, obviously. I just saw someone put
There we
this in
go.
the
We're
chat.
out.
I'm gonna get out if we go break even on Meta because that just snaps 70 cents. I mean, I did take some for 50-cent profit. Nat Gas got shellacked today, by the way. I
Again?
didn't even notice this. Well, we focused on Enbridge because Enbridge had the news, but natural gas made another bounce to the downside. That sucks because I own Enbridge and a little bit of Tellurian, which I'm sure is not having a good day. I'm not going to torture myself by looking at that.
No, Tellurian's having a good day because they're involved in, they had earnings and they're involved in some kind of a deal.
The interesting thing is it's a shot play. I bought it off.
Yeah, yeah.
I bought it off $1. Like I'm not even thinking that this is
think
like a
it's up-
long-term
it was
hold.
up like 10%.
I'll look in a second, but this was Meta was just around 28.30s, and now it looks like it might break back to the upside. Okay, I'll bite.
What?
No, just looking at Tell.
It is it's up 10%, like I said.
Okay, so it's actually. Oh yeah, it's still in the money. It is having a good day.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care about the fundamentals necessarily.
So we got out of Apple, by the way, just quickly, because we might as well just discuss some of the trades that we're now no longer in. So out of Apple. But again, this was just a fantastic one. I mean, now it's breaking to the upside. So Nicole Harris, if you're buying lottos on Apple, you might want to average in right now because it's a nice move to the upside right now. Okay.
Well, I'm taking that out.
Okay.
We just pop back down.
Okay, Intel, right now, so I can change my, Intel was just at 89, damn it. All right, so I was bidding 87s there. It looks like we'll probably get stopped out of this. I was like, okay, here we go. We're starting to go back down to the downside because we went green on the trade, and then all of a sudden, no. So that's not happening for us right now. Let's check out Occidental. I mean, oil's been moving around a lot lately. Oxy back down sub 66 right now in this. Oh yeah, I forgot to show everybody this. This says, so here, I'll take it off. These are friendship bracelets. So what we did was my wife and daughter made these friendship bracelets for everybody on the High Park team. So this one says Coach Sean, and then it has diamonds and all that kind of stuff. So each girl had one of these with their names in it, and we gave it to them. See, it says Coach Sean there with the numbers. So that was really cool. So we're wearing that to focus on our inner T Sweezy.
That's what it's
right
all
now.
about.
Then I also have a dad one as well.
See, those are the ones that I know.
These are
I'm
the high
stuck
quality.
making these ones every day.
Oh,
It's
I have a bunch of those.
You know the rubber band ones?
Yes.
My daughter got a kit.
They're called, we have about
There's a name for these.
14,000 of those.
The problem
Oh,
is she
man.
wants to give them to all of her friends that she makes for
Yes,
everything.
yes.
But then she doesn't make enough. So last night, before bedtime, she's like, Daddy, I promised I'd
Yeah.
make 2 more and I didn't finish it. I'm like,
There was
oh,
1.5
so
billion to
I'm
buy
literally
there, by
doing
the way.
this like right at the end of the day.
What the hell are
and
those
having to
things
make these.
called? Oh my
There's
God.
a name for the.
We
you-
just
you
bought
know
like
the
a
name.
huge, I have about literally 30 of those.
Just one last thing. I took out a meta when it got back down that 70 cents in the
Rainbow
money.
looms, thank you
Rainbow
so much,
loom.
Gladys.
HKID is halted down now. It's at 360. It's got a tap of 336. This stock is ridiculous. It is probably headed to zero or something. I'll still try long one tomorrow probably. But it's going to open up at 4 o'clock, it looks like. This is absolute. This is woodshedded. I really did think that like AMC was the worst stock today. But there's always a bigger fish. That's rule number one. There's always a bigger fish. Don't rest on your laurels because as much as AMC was a good short, HK was just staring maybe us in the face. I have no idea if we could even get locates on this because I didn't try, and I wouldn't bother trying it this time. But it will open up at some point. Aura, Neil Roberts wears his rainbow loom shirt soon. If I had one, I'm not afraid to wear anything, but I don't know what that is, and I don't have a rainbow loom shirt. Although my wife heard this whole flower thing on Fridays. Anyways, so I got this shirt. It's not really a floral print, but I'm going to wear it on Friday, even though no one has been, because I was talking about that whole failed Floral Friday thing. Yeah. So I now actually have a shirt now that nobody is doing it, and I will try to wear that for you guys on Friday. I think it looks pretty cool, but it's not really my normal style. What do we got here? 5 minutes until the close. The imbalances, Apple paired off a little bit, so it went from 1 point something to 800,000. Palantir is a sell of 800,000. I didn't see that before. Is that moving here? Palantir. Palantir's holding up pretty well today. The market had a bad day. Palantir is up 0.6%, and it never broke the low of the day. It bounced at $15 again. There's a buyer at 15 on Palantir. And every single day, when it looks like it could be weak, it's just very gently grinding higher. Let's respect the fact that Palantir has caught a bit of a bid, and maybe look for some dip buy longs in Palantir. Because that's not bad. That's 15 even, and it bounces to 30. That's 15.10, and it bounces to 30. And if you don't like that kind of a trade bouncing off lows, and it did the same thing the day before. Bounced off the low, bounced off the low, double bottom off the low. Just take a double bottom long on Palantir off of whatever the opening range low is. Looks like a good trade, especially that 15 even. So Palantir is going to open tomorrow, hopefully above 15, because I think it can be longed up there, down there.
We're only a couple more minutes, and then we'll do we have the death clock working today, by the way? Okay, so that is
Why,
working.
you didn't have a clock yesterday?
Apparently not. So I was like, oh my God, the thing's not blowing up, which was nice for that. But okay, right now, we just ended our Coinbase trade. So again, short 79.60, out 78 flat for a big one. So we'll props it up there. And then honestly, man, we just got covered on Intel a little bit. Fine. We made a little bit of money back, but honestly, man, our best outs, like, look, we actually got an 88 and we got an 87. So that's what created a nice push down for us right there. I'm just going to put a bid, maybe 93, see if we could just cover. Oh, I have my Coinbase bid still in there. Maybe we'll get a cover at 93. Like, I honestly, at this point, I got to get over to the other desk. So if we flush in, we'll take an amazing 2 cents on this and end the day at a pretty good spot. I mean, we're going to be good. Obviously, it's going to be a green day. And, you know, whenever you have a green day, it's been pretty good. And I've showed you some of the trades that we've made live. And that's what trading's all about, right? Just enjoy trading. And I know it's frustrating a lot of days. And, you know, we've been here and been frustrated many, many days. But today, a lot of the trades came through. So, you know, it was just one of those things. I'm just refreshing my blotter here to make sure we don't have anything stuck. That imbalance, by the way, was 1.5 billion to buy. I don't know if we talked about that. There is a trade that you could do at the end of the day. This was, I mean, Chris brought this to my attention. He was on my show tonight, on the after show there, where it was, if it's a big buy, look for maybe a jump in the last couple seconds here. SPY.am right there. So maybe there's going to be a little bit of a jump. Let's just see what's happening in the last couple minutes here. Load. Nothing. So right now the SPY is doing nothing. So look out for a possible little move here at the end. I'll ask Chris about this too. He's coming on at 4:15 just to see if that's been working out for him or not. But so far so good there. As we only have 2 minutes to go, looks like Intel just wants to go up. I'll see if there we go. We got a 97 fill. Okay.
Intel and Micron are just strong. Oracle is going to close at the high of the day as well. So I promised I'd say legacy. The legacy names are in today. So 37. I gave up the long on Intel. Probably shouldn't have done that. With only 2 minutes to go, I just checked the likes, Steve G. He said do a like check.
Did he?
And just remind everybody, we're at 500 likes. Natalie Brunel absolutely crushed it. The after show is going to be absolute fire. There was plenty of opportunities. I know the market's down, but the shorts were fire today.
Yeah.
So take a second, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you like the show, like the show. A wiser man than me once said that, and I believe it. 1 minute to go here, everybody. It is a buy and balance, and the market is slightly bouncing, but it's not going to get green today. So note your relative strength, note your relative weakness. As I said, Micron, Intel, these are names that actually are going to be green on the day. Micron actually pulled back. Oracle, let's try to respect some Oracle tomorrow because that was an absolute beast going into the afternoon and going into the close. Actually hit almost a fresh high and continues to churn higher. Great name, great mover. Less than a minute, Katrina is moving on to the bell. She doesn't look that happy because we're only at about 650. We'll get to that 1,000 likes. These guys are fantastic. Over 4,000 subs and lots of you guys watching, and I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope we're all learning a little something. What I learned today is don't sleep on HKIT, because that's anytime a stock goes from 34 to 4. I know AMC was nice. This was almost a heck of a lot better. We're going to be all over this one tomorrow if it gets to $1. I'm smirking about it because the risk to reward if this stock, which was at 34 bucks, can get to $1, I think is going to be fantastic. Get the camera off me and put it on Katrine, because now she's starting to smile. She's getting happy. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. The market's moving. We're enjoying it. Dance it off. Why not? A little bit of a dancing queen there. In 3, 2, and 1, ring it. There we go. The casino is closed, but the party ain't over. Sean's already up at the desk, so we'll wrap this up pretty quickly. You're going to get C3AI after the bell. There's a lot of earnings to get to. There's this. There's going to be GameStop. I don't know exactly what time that is going to be. I want to give a big shout out to the midday. Obviously, Sharif and Obi. Obi stepping in for Max, who isn't yet back from Europe. I'm sure he's enjoying himself. We'll let you know when he gets back in here. On the ones and twos, great job by Ramin, obviously, and Fabian as well. Shout out, of course, to our guest, Natalie Brunel, doing a fantastic job. Let's throw it to the desk.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming back through for the post-market show. We're going to talk all about earnings. We got GameStop on board. We got C3AI on board. We got UiPath on board as we do not stop working for you. Yeah, we're